My beautiful clients all like to wear black stockings. Starting from scratch when Xu Leyang was playing a game, he was harassed by advertisements and accidentally obtained a psychological counseling system, which allowed him to see the other party's private information. He helped the counselors to clear up and relieve stress again and again, and at the same time received system rewards. Chapter 1: The ad was actually real. It wasn't Blue Star, it was Blue Star. Hulong Country, Shanghai City. In a small and dimly lit rental room, the sound of keyboard and mouse clicks filled the air. 25-year-old traveler Xu Leyang, wearing headphones, was focused on his computer screen, his hands skillfully manipulating the mouse and keyboard. With only 3 days left until the rent was due and still looking for a job, he was calm and collected. It wasn't because he had money, it was because he believed in living for the moment. Drink today, be merry today. Push mid-lane directly. They can't fight us in a head-on clash right now. Voices from a few teammates filled his earphones, communicating closely. This was a crucial match for promotion. Just as things were heating up, an unexpected event occurred. Hey. Why can't I move? On the screen, his character stood frozen in place, no matter how much Xu Leyang shook the mouse. The screen went black before his eyes. A few seconds later, a pop-up ad appeared. He immediately understood the cause. Damn rogue antivirus software, I specifically checked the box to stop ads during game time, and yet it still popped up. The ad displayed 2 lines of large text: can't find a job. Try becoming a psychological counselor. Earning 200k a month is not a dream. Phut, another scam loan ad, Xu Leyang muttered. Though he was jobless at the moment, he wasn't a fool. If there were real ways to make money, would others really share them with you? He clicked the X on the top right corner. Damn it. He cursed again. He clearly clicked to close the ad, so how did it open again? At that moment, he noticed 2 X's on the ad's top right corner. One was big and bold and had featured the other, small and thin, was the real close button. As the page opened, a sound chimed. Ding! The long-awaited voice of a mature system AI finally spoke. Congratulations, host, for activating the psychological counseling system. This system focuses on communication between hearts, allowing you to relieve others' psychological stress while making money and reaching the peak of life. Xu Leyang was stunned for a moment, the word relieve echoing in his ears. Looking at the screen, the page displayed a psychological counselor's certificate with a photo, name, and ID number that were exactly the same as his. This certificate has been entered into the national certification system and can be verified at any time, safe and reliable. Could it be a scam? Xu Leyang wondered. This world is similar to my original one, but everything requires degrees and qualifications. I, a traveler, don't have any of that. Before he could finish his thought, his phone received a text message. Your account 6969 received a transfer at 11:52 p.m, balance updated. It's early October now, and your salary for the month has been paid in advance. Love you, system sister. Task: rent an office in the city center at the Golden Sea building tomorrow to open a psychological counseling office named after the host. All necessary procedures, including the business license, have been completed. Reward: monthly income of 200k. Tax and transfer issues will be handled for you, no further prompts will be made. City Center Office. A psychological counseling business. Suddenly, all kinds of things unrelated to him filled his mind, and for a moment, he couldn't accept it. 2.5 seconds later, Xu Leyang accepted it. He. He grinned foolishly at his phone screen, his fingers stroking the balance. The next morning, Xu Leyang used express delivery to buy a new outfit and get a haircut. He was heading to the city center to maintain appearances. Half an hour later, a handsome, well-groomed young man stood before the mirror, wearing a tailored dark leisure suit. Damn. Did the system also make me taller and more handsome? I was 176 centimeters before, but now I'm at least 183 centimeters. Xu Leyang brushed his hair and asked the mirror. Mirror, who is the most handsome man in the world? It's Tomato Reader. He locked the door and headed out. Xu Leyang took the prepared documents and nervously picked up his business license from the local industrial and commercial administration. The rules here are a bit different, can't apply my old knowledge to Blue Star. Then he took the subway to the Golden Sea building, a super-grade office tower in the city center. It was 300 meters tall with 59 floors. The diamond-cut exterior stood out on the main avenue, gleaming brightly. It was the dream workplace of countless office workers. Though it was his first time here and he felt out of place, money was confidence. 200K a month was enough to make Xu Leyang stand tall. How about this office? 36, 20th floor, good lighting. It comes with office furniture, you just need to move your things in. This is the smallest room we have. A woman in a black professional suit from the building management department was showing him around. No black stockings, 1 star down. The room had a full wall of floor-to-ceiling windows with a great view of the river. A large black desk was placed by the window, along with 4 swivel chairs. Near the door, against the wall, was a black leather sofa, and the floor was covered in a high-quality grey carpet. How much is the rent? Total fees are 20K, 6 months minimum. The deposit is separate. So expensive? Doesn't matter, the system must have a reason for arranging this. I'll take it. Great, please come to the office to complete the paperwork. After signing the lease, the system voice chimed in again. Ding! Congratulations, host, on successfully opening your psychological counseling office. As long as the office remains open, you will receive a monthly salary of 200K. Xu Leyang suddenly remembered an important question. What if I don't have any business for a month? You'll still get paid. Perfect. The ad was actually real. Brothers, remember to click on those pop-up ads next time. But seriously, don't click, I'm just saying that to the system. In the empty office, Xu Leyang stood by the window, looking down at the magnificent river view. Although it had only been a day, everything still felt a little surreal. He knew this was the turning point in his life. With a positive mindset, Xu Leyang began inspecting the office. Now that he was the boss, something still felt missing. What's missing is the necessary equipment for the counseling room. I'll arrange it now. A flash of white light passed through the room. Psychological sandtrays, evaluation instruments, and posters, all the necessary counseling tools were neatly arranged, giving the room a professional feel. I'll familiarize myself with the methods tomorrow. No need. These items are just for decoration. The actual methods will be explained when a client arrives tomorrow. True, with the system, things aren't done the usual way. At 6 p.m., Xu Leyang walked out of the office. The electronic screen by the door displayed the name of his counseling room and personal information. In the lobby of the Golden Sea building, the large electronic directory board also listed 20F, Zhongsan Law Firm, Ling CAI Education, XXX. Leyang Private Psychological Counseling, XXX. That night, Xu Leyang invited his 4 friends from last night to eat barbecue at a street-side stall. He wouldn't suddenly change his spending habits. These guys were his gaming buddies, whom he met while working odd jobs. They often hung out in internet cafes, playing 5-player games together, their skills as sharp as tigers. Brothers, drink up. The lag last night made us lose points. My bad. Boss Yan, don't be so polite. That was just an accident. No, Yan, you look even taller and more handsome now. You even smell good. Brother, you're making me nervous with those comments. The next morning at 10 a.m., a high-end desktop computer appeared in Xu Leyang's office. It didn't delete the games automatically. Bored, he glanced at his phone. There was still about 40K left. I thought 200K was a huge amount, but it's going fast. I haven't even spent much, and it's almost gone. Ding dong. The doorbell suddenly rang, interrupting his thoughts, making him a bit anxious. A customer is here. The nervousness faded in an instant. Why would I be anxious? I'm getting 200K a month for doing nothing, with System Sister's help. Should I be worried? He cleared his throat. Come in. Chapter 2, The First Client. The person who pushed open the door was a woman with a light mature vibe. She had long, jet black hair cascading naturally down to her chest. Her oval face, with delicate eyebrows, large eyes, and moist red lips, gave her a sophisticated charm that elevated her light mature aura. She wore a brown, stylish trench coat that exuded a sense of stability, paired with a white floral dress underneath, adding a youthful touch. Her brown ankle boots completed the look, making her an attention-grabbing figure. No black stockings, but still quite alluring, perfect score. Please have a seat. Before sitting down, the woman took off her coat and held it in her arms, revealing a light, milk-yellow wool sweater underneath. At that moment, ABCD song played in Xu Leyang's mind. From her hand, the still glowing screen of her phone revealed an image of his certificate. "You're quite young." She spoke first. "You verified it's genuine, right?" Xu Leyang glanced at the phone, and she immediately realized, quickly covering it up. Ding! The psychological counseling assistant program has been successfully installed. Host, please observe the client. Xu Leyang lifted his gaze and saw a status bar appear next to the client. Name, Chen Yao. Age, 27. Height, 167 centimeters. Occupation, interior designer. Trust level, 1%. Personal info. 0. Owns a design studio, often seeks inspiration by the seaside, enjoys sea salt honey macchiatos and loves cats, dislikes strangers who act overly familiar and ask too many questions, can't stand trivial chatter, has been unable to work peacefully for the last month, often waking from nightmares several times a night, sometimes experiencing hallucinations. Has visited several psychologists but left after just a few words. 1. Trust level 20% unlocked. 2. Trust level 40% unlocked. 3. Trust level 60% unlocked. 4. Trust level 80% unlocked. Hidden trust level 100% unlocked. Explanation: trust level is only for the host and will initially be low. Personal information will unlock as the trust level increases. The more advanced the trust, the more private the information. Each unlocked piece of info rewards 5 skill points and 200,000 money. Trust level reaching 100% grants an additional reward of 10 million. How do I increase trust? And what about skill points? Hint: trust increases when clients feel psychological relief during consultations or develop affection for the host, indicating that the host's communication is effective. Hint: once a client, trust can be increased outside this office. This sounds familiar. It's like dating, making them shy. Hint: trust increase is a gradual process, so don't expect 100% right away. The higher the trust, the harder it is to increase. Skill points will be explained later. Hint: the main function of this system is to help clients relieve psychological stress through in-depth communication with the host. The host currently cannot directly resolve the client's sources of stress. Got it, deep communication. Ding! Newbie gift pack issued, enhancing 2 extraordinary abilities for the host. 1. Pleasant voice, speaking well is a talent. The same words spoken by the host are more likely to be accepted by others. 2. Insight, ability to observe the small details in others. Is your surname Ju? Ding! Newbie task 1, complete a psychological counseling session. Reward, skill shop. Hint: effectively using personal information to communicate with the client will make increasing trust easier. Hello. The woman noticed Xu Leyang had been staring at his hands for a minute and called out to him. Xu Leyang snapped back to attention and apologized, "Sorry. I was just admiring the pattern on your phone case. The lines reminded me of the seaside, and I could almost see the waves crashing onto the shore." A flash of subtle surprise crossed Chen Yao's eyes, but Xu Leyang noticed it immediately. "This is my own design. The inspiration comes from the seaside. I sometimes go to the seaside to relieve stress as well. Trust level, 6%. It really works. You, as a professional who helps others relieve stress, also have stress. Does that mean your work level isn't up to par?" She didn't seem eager to reveal her problems. A doctor can't heal themselves. Everyone has their own stress. Is your stress coming from the patients you help? Is it them preventing you from healing yourself? Chen Yao's lips curled into a slight smirk, and a playful, probing look appeared in her eyes. Is this woman trying to start trouble? You're not entirely correct. The people who come to me are not patients, they are clients. Also, bearing and sharing the psychological stress of clients is my duty. If one day I can't handle it, I'll leave this line of work. Like you said, it would mean my skills aren't good enough. Xu Leyang maintained a polite smile. Trust level, 10%. Chen Yao's expression became serious. You're different from other therapists. You didn't ask me a bunch of leading questions. You didn't make me operate those boring devices. And you're speaking to me with empty hands. Is this your unique approach? Regardless of the method, the premise is that the client is willing to communicate with me. If there's internal resistance, no matter how professional the tests or devices are, they won't relieve the client's stress. Ding dong. After chatting for a bit, the doorbell rang, and Xu Leyang stood up to open it. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I just ordered 2 of the sea salt honey macchiatos I usually drink. Thank you. Trust level, 15%. Chen Yao reached for the cup, and Xu Leyang's attention was drawn to a small scratch on the back of her hand. Now, we're not empty-handed anymore. Chen Yao chuckled at this sudden remark. Her light mature charm spread from the corner of her mouth, filling the entire office. I didn't expect you liked this flavor too. Most people think it's terrible. Huh? Xu Leyang suppressed his urge to take a sip and nodded subtly. The scratch on your hand was from a cat, wasn't it? You like cats too? Trust level, 17%. A clear flash of surprise appeared on Chen Yao's face. When a woman of her looks shows such a clear signal, the answer would be the same no matter how many people you asked. I don't like them. Huh? She doubted she heard wrong. I was scratched by a cat when I was little. It still gives me the creeps. You're pretty honest. Trust level, 18%. Time passed, and Chen Yao still hadn't revealed her worries. Xu Leyang didn't rush her. But he could tell she had relaxed considerably, no longer looking as guarded as when she first walked in. Ding ding ding. A pleasant sound rang out. The clock on the wall showed it was exactly midnight. Chen Yao's elegant face flashed with a trace of regret, and she stood up to put on her coat. Sorry for taking up so much of your time. I didn't ask, what's the fee for today? I completely forgot about the cost. Xu Leyang's heart skipped a beat, but his face remained calm. This first session is a free trial. If you come again next time, it will be charged. When will you be available? He picked up a calendar from the desk, frowning and scanning the empty dates, pretending to have a full schedule. How about next Monday at 3 p.m? All right. My name is Chen Yao. I'll trouble you again then. Xu Leyang escorted her to the door, and the faint fragrance of her perfume wafted to his nose. Trust level, 20%. Unlocked personal info. 1. Crazy about design, can talk about it endlessly. Her vanity table design won a National Furniture Design Award. Likes people who understand her design philosophy. Bold lingerie style, prefers lace one-piece designs. Occasionally seeks inspiration from the shower head while taking a bath. How does she find inspiration in the shower? Details, please. Ding. Congratulations, host, for completing newbie task 1. Reward, skill shop. Please check your personal panel. Chapter 3, renting a house. Xu Leyang exhaled softly, trying to push the image of the shower head out of his mind. The personal panel appeared before him. Name, Xu Leyang. System level, beginner 40,100 million. Deposit must be in whole numbers. Skills, none. Skill points, 105. Initial points 100. Skill shop, click to access. Currently, the system level is beginner. You can upgrade by meeting the deposit requirement to unlock more functions. A small goal like that would upgrade me to intermediate? That means I need to get 10 people's trust to 100%. If I rely only on basic income, I'll have to wait 50 years. Look at you, so eager. To find common ground with clients and better serve them, we are offering the skill shop. Please focus your eyes on the click to access link for further explanation. Xu Leyang quickly followed the instructions. Beside his personal panel, a window similar to an online shopping platform appeared, showcasing 3 book-shaped items. Each skill associated with a client's profession will be logged in the skill shop. You must spend skill points to purchase and learn them. The skill level will slightly exceed that of the client. To help you make money quickly, the system places no restrictions on side businesses. Please plan your skills wisely. Not bad. I'll patiently gather skills at the beginning and then use them to earn when I find the right opportunity. Xu Leyang focused on the 3 books, and their details appeared. Design knowledge 20 points. This must be the professional skill possessed by Chen Yao. Self-defense skill 0 points. Skill note, very powerful. The host must be alive to provide consultations. 2 modes to choose from. 1. Pain without injury mode. You hurt someone badly, but no visible injury or signs of damage. 2. Normal mode, blood will flow like a river. Tracking technique 0 points skill note, displays the location of nearby targets who harbor hostility toward the host, ensuring safe travels. Self-defense skill and tracking technique as system gifts. It's recommended that the host learns them immediately. Other skills are optional. Alright, I'll learn them all since there are only a few. The 3 skill books instantly disappeared. Skill points, 85. A warm current surged through Xu Leyang's body. He also heard several crisp crackling sounds as his muscles and bones underwent slight changes, becoming firmer, able to withstand impact. At the same time, a wealth of design knowledge, concepts, and software applications that Chen Yao mastered flooded his mind. As for the tracking technique, it wasn't usable just yet. Newbie Task 2, accumulate 3 clients. Reward, 1 skill enhancement. Skills can be enhanced. Xu Leyang felt a surge of anticipation, but there were still more pressing matters to attend to. He found contact details for several private counseling rooms online and, pretending to be a client, inquired about their prices. They charge by the hour, ranging from hundreds to thousands of yuan. There are also those with stellar reputations, offering bespoke services. You pay a lump sum per year, and they are available at any time. This is basically. Xu Leyang took a sip of his sea salt honey macchiato to calm his nerves. After all the talking, his throat was dry. This tastes just like footbath water. Is this the taste of designers? He wiped the water off the table and continued thinking. If I charge too little, people will think my skills are lacking and I'm a newbie. If I charge too much, they'll think it's too expensive and won't come. I should focus on covering rent, electricity, and food expenses first. The rent and other expenses add up to over 20,000 a month, let us say 30,000 in total. If I divide it by 30 days, that's about 1,000 per day. Since I've just started, there are no clients yet. I can only hope that people working in this building will see my sign and come by. White-collar workers should be under a lot of pressure. Xu Leyang decisively added the pricing on the electronic screen outside, 1,000 yuan per hour. After having lunch in the office, Xu Leyang lay on the sofa, looking at the balance of over 40,000 yuan in his phone messages, considering his next steps. His current rental place was about to expire in 1 day, and he definitely wasn't renewing the lease. His dream was to buy a luxurious mansion, but for now, he had to find somewhere else to rent. I'll only need the place to sleep at night, as I'll be here during the day. So, I should rent a place where I can sleep peacefully, and when I have enough money in a few months, I'll look for a place near the office. I should save up until I figure out the system. Shanghai City had a long history and a booming economy. Struggling workers typically lived in the old city, or the northern part of the city, while the wealthy enjoyed a life of luxury in the new city, or the southern part. Xu Leyang boarded the subway heading to the northern part of the city. 40 minutes later, he emerged from the subway station. The northern city was also bustling, with traffic moving in all directions, but the building's heights and overall appearance were definitely not as impressive as in the southern part. Street vendors, motorcycles, and small shops that were invisible in the southern part could be seen everywhere here. I'll search around here. Renting near a subway station would be much more convenient. As expected, the properties were all rented out. No matter where you are, houses near bus or subway stations were always in high demand. However, Xu Leyang was no longer in a rush. He could leisurely enjoy the scenery while house hunting. With money, there is no need to panic. When he reached a street called Yima Road, he saw several rental notices plastered on the wall. On the east side of the road were several 5- or 6-story buildings. These were independent units built by local people for workers to rent, priced at around 300 yuan per month for a small room, and around 400 yuan for a room with a bathroom. These houses obviously don't have good soundproofing. If someone is doing some late-night activities, you won't be able to sleep. Plus, there is no air conditioning. Summer would be unbearable. And if the upstairs neighbor is noisy, especially if you're coming back from a night shift, you'd be ready to kill them. On the west side of the road was a large expanse of low-rise buildings, also for rent. Each unit had a small courtyard, with 3 to 4 households per courtyard. The apartments were typically 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom units, all priced above 1,000 yuan. Maybe I should rent a house in a courtyard. It's more secluded and quiet, and the small yard feels like home. I never got to experience that in my past life. There's a courtyard over there with only 2 households. The landlord has an empty unit opposite, and it's clean and quiet, with no noise at night. The rent is a bit higher, though 1,500 yuan. If I had a stable job, I'd rent there for sure. At that moment, 2 young women walked past Xu Leyang. I think that place is great. Plus, the landlord's a woman, so as women living alone, we can feel safer. An odd thing happened. Xu Leyang's feet seemed to move uncontrollably toward the location the 2 women had mentioned. Hey! 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 System, what are you doing? Why are you controlling my feet? This system doesn't have control over people's actions. Please face your inner self. In front of a neat and fresh-looking small courtyard, Xu Leyang stopped. The gate was wide open, revealing 2 separate houses inside. Knock knock knock. Xu Leyang knocked on the door of the left house, where he could hear some noise coming from inside. Hello, I'm interested in renting a house. The door slowly opened. An elderly woman with white hair walked out. Her face was wrinkled, but her expression was kind and warm. Young man, you want to rent a house? Xu Leyang had initially planned to say he was just looking, but upon seeing the tidy interior and the well-kept courtyard, combined with the old woman's sincere gaze, he decided otherwise. Yes. Show me the house, please. The elderly woman smiled happily, took out the key, and led Xu Leyang to the opposite house. It was a 1-bedroom, 1 living room, 1 kitchen, and 1 bathroom setup. As expected, it was not large, but it was clean and orderly, making him feel comfortable. The elderly woman clearly took good care of the place. Especially the bathroom, which had no stains or odor. This was a big plus. 2 young women came by earlier, and they liked the place too. But the rent is higher than the other side. Nowadays young people have it tough. Chapter 4. Now I just want to make money. The landlord is Wang Onong, 61 years old. Onong, I miss you. Xu Leyang paid 6,000 yuan for a deposit of 1/3 of the rent. He then bought some basic necessities nearby, including bedding and a 4-piece set. Just when I was about to put the quilt cover on the bed, I was stopped by the landlord. Young man, don't use it directly. You still need to wash the 4-piece suit. It's okay, old man. I'm used to it. Go back and pack your things first. I'll wash the sheets, quilts, and pillowcases for you. You can use them after drying them. That's so embarrassing. The landlord said as he quickly helped Xu Leyang pack his things. Xu Leyang couldn't refuse, and when he returned to the small and dim rental house, it was already night. If you ask me what I want to take away, it's the same thing. His favorite book, Mengde Cow, which reminds him not to forget his original intention. The next morning, Xu Leyang ordered several sets of work clothes worth about 1,000 yuan through the local express delivery service. He also had some clothes for daily changes of clothes, and the current ones were thrown away directly. Money is really hard to spend. 200,000 is only a little over 20,000 in a blink of an eye. In the afternoon, Xu Leyang officially moved into the newly rented room. The landlady was mopping the floor in her living room. When she saw Xu Leyang, she immediately smiled kindly. Young man, come into the house and see what's missing. The bed in the bedroom was already made, the quilt was neatly folded, and there was a fresh scent of sunshine and detergent. Xu Leyang has a skill that he has not yet mastered, which is how to put on the quilt. He put one corner of the quilt in first, but when he touched the other corner, the corner that was put in first somehow curled up. Looks like there's nothing to worry about this time. Thank you, it's all right for now. Xu Leyang lay on the newly made bed and let out a long sigh. Tomorrow will be a new life. It's strange, I was very satisfied yesterday, but now I suddenly want to make more money. At this moment, a delicious smell that made one's stomach growl wafted in. It smells so good. I should eat something too. Xu Leyang took out his cell phone and picked out dinner. He usually used the kitchen to make instant noodles and would not go in at other times. Boom boom boom. There was a knock on the door, and when I opened it, the landlord appeared outside. Have you eaten, young man? Come over and have something to eat with us. Old man, it's no trouble. I can just order takeout. Young people can't always eat takeout. It will damage your health. Come on, you're welcome. I made a few more dishes today. Xu Leyang still wanted to refuse because he was not used to eating with strangers. But the aroma of food kept wafting into my nose. In the past year since I traveled through time, I have never eaten anything made in my home kitchen. The landlord also looked very sincere in inviting me, so I couldn't say no. On the dining table in the living room, there was a dish of beef brisket with potatoes and tomatoes, a dish of stir-fried lotus root strips, a dish of stir-fried vegetables and a bowl of seaweed soup. Don't be disgusted, young man. Just eat something simple. The old man said this and handed Xu Leyang a bowl of rice. You are so polite. This is already considered luxurious. Xu Leyang immediately stood up and took it. For him, this meal was indeed luxurious in every sense. Since I traveled through time, I either order takeout rice or set meals, or I go to the street to have some fried noodles or fried rice, which costs about 13 yuan. If I have a little more money, I'll buy a bottle of beer. If you don't have money, eat a bag of Bailu instant noodles in the morning without seasoning, eat a bag of noodles at noon, and eat another bag of noodles at night with seasoning. For him, eating is just a simple task. When the first bite of beef brisket enters the mouth, the aroma instantly fills the entire mouth. Compared with the street stalls, it has some other flavors. Tasty. Xu Leyang chatted with the landlord while eating and quickly finished 2 bowls of food. I'm full, thank you. You can open a restaurant with your cooking skills. Xu Leyang stood up to collect the bowls. Since he was eating for free, he should at least help others wash the plates and bowls. No, go and have a rest. I'm happy to be able to chat with someone like me whose half of my body is buried in the ground. The landlord swiftly snatched the bowl from Xu Leyang. After returning to his room, Xu Leyang stopped playing with his phone, took a shower, lay on the bed, and comfortably touched his bulging belly. He gradually fell asleep. It was only 9 p.m., but I slept soundly. Get up 1 minute earlier, and a capitalist dies. Get up 1 minute earlier, and a capitalist dies. At 6:30 in the morning, the unique alarm sounded. The surrounding environment changed, and Xu Leyang felt a little uncomfortable when he got up. After washing up, I locked the door and went to take the subway. Fuck. This stands for WTF, shocked. The subway station entrance was already packed with people. The priority now was not to get on the subway, but to squeeze into the ticket gate. Before Xu Leyang could recover from the shock, he was carried forward by the crowd and was completely unable to move. Fuck. This is the what the hell that represents anger. The 900+ Bell business leather shoes I just bought yesterday were stepped on by someone. I wore them for less than an hour. Fortunately, I didn't eat anything, otherwise my breakfast would have been squeezed out. Just as I finished thinking this, I smelled a strong odor. Turning around, I saw a girl in work clothes wearing big framed glasses chewing on a bun, holding a bag of milk in her other hand. It seemed that she wanted to finish it before entering the station. Xu Leyang subconsciously wanted to move away, but not only was he unable to move, the crowd pushed him closer and closer. Just when he was in despair, he suddenly remembered something and slapped himself hard, scaring everyone around him. I'm used to a hard life. Now I'm a boss and have a little money. Why should I squeeze into the early morning subway? Isn't it me who decides when to go to work? Ding! The second batch of novice gift packages is being sent. Please go to the underground parking lot of Jinhai Building, parking space 325 in Area B. Chapter 5 Linkasan. He. When Xu Leyang got off the subway at Jinhai Building Station, he was already grinning, or rather, he was grinning foolishly all the way. What a pity that such a handsome guy is actually a fool. He turned a deaf ear to the discussions around him and walked straight to the underground garage. This gift package is specially configured for the new consulting room to start. I randomly selected a car worth about 300,000 yuan for the host. Reminder, there will be no similar benefits for novices in the future. There will be no free lunch in the sky. Please focus on making money. It's really casual. You can choose a cheaper vehicle and store it yourself. Before he could finish his words, he saw a Coast Blue Don't Touch Me 325 parked quietly in the parking space with the driver's door open. Keys, driver's license, insurance and other documents are placed on the seat. That's very thoughtful. The certificate has been logged into the system, please drive with confidence. Xu Leyang got into the car and opened the driver's license. Sure enough, the information was exactly the same as his own. He put one hand on the steering wheel and touched the interior with the other. I was thinking about buying a car when I was squeezing into the subway in the morning. Tong's wife really understands me. After I calmed down and got out of the car, a zircon red AMG C43 parked in the opposite parking space. The car door opened, and a tall, mature and charming woman appeared in everyone's sight. The proud upper body is wearing a grey suit that shows off her figure, and underneath it is a light blue shirt that is similar to the color of Xu Leyang's body. Underneath, she is wearing flesh-colored stockings and high heels. Her black, thick hair fell down from one shoulder, with some small curls. Although she was wearing sunglasses, her high nose and attractive red lips were enough to show her mature charm. If she can hold up her aura, she will be a killer to thousands of men. If she can't hold up her aura, she will be a country bumpkin. Obviously, this woman belongs to the former. Her appearance caused a brief pause in the parking lot, and the eyes of the men nearby were drawn to her. I'm so lucky today that I actually saw her. As expected, a mature and elegant woman is more attractive. Cuteness is not worth mentioning at all. You are just a toad wanting to eat swan meat. Is it possible for people like us to get in touch with the marketing manager of a foreign trade company? She's still a strong woman. Under the gaze of everyone, the tall and elegant woman walked towards the elevator with seductive steps. At this moment, everyone woke up from their dream and rushed to the elevator, not wanting to miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Xu Leyang walked out from the other exit to have breakfast. There was no hot dry noodles in this world, so he ordered a bowl of small noodles with red oil and ate 1 or 2 fried dumplings while waiting for his meal. When he returned to the lobby on the first floor, he saw the woman driving the Mercedes-Benz again. She was folding her arms and staring at the sign in the lobby. Without a doubt, this woman with a mature charm became the focus of the hall again. Every office worker, male or female, who passed by would take a look at her. Their eyes were filled with envy, jealousy, and desire. Xu Leyang entered the elevator and pressed 20. The grey, cool figure entered the high-rise elevator opposite. Jinhai building has 59 floors in total. Floors 57 to 59 are rented by a foreign trade company, Liandar Group. Its business is mainly focused on daily department stores, which are spread all over the world and are huge in scale. Back in the office, Xu Leyang did not turn on the computer, but was thinking about a problem. System. Why don't other people have panels when I go out? The current system level is elementary, and the panel is limited to customers who come to this office and are willing to consult. Understood. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Xu Leyang looked at the time, it was 8:30. Come in. As the door opened, a fragrant breeze blew in, and the two people who met were stunned for a moment. Is it her? Please take a seat. Xu Leyang raised his hand and calmly pointed at the chair in front of him. He had practiced this action many times in front of the mirror, including the smile on his face and the coordination of his eyes. The guest bent down to adjust her skirt, sat down, crossed her left leg over her right leg, and pushed back her hair that was draped over her shoulders. The thin seat obviously doesn't match her aura. The feeling of elegance and coolness is instantly exuded. This person was exactly the mature and elegant woman Xu Leyang had seen in the parking lot. Now that she had taken off her sunglasses, her thin eyebrows and almond-shaped eyes, coupled with her delicate face, made her even more charming. Name, Lin Kasin. Age, 30. Height, 173. Occupation, marketing manager of a foreign trade company. Trust, 2%. Personal information. 0. Graduated from a prestigious university with a major in international trade, has a talent for foreign languages, a strong personality, and is vigorous and resolute at work. Hates the opposite sex, showing affection towards him. Particularly appreciates people who are more talented than himself but keep their talents to themselves. And mastering multiple foreign languages is a plus. Recently he suffers from insomnia every day, feels irritable, and often feels dizzy when working overtime at night. 1. Unlocked when the trust reaches 20%. 2. Unlocked when the trust reaches 40%. 3. Unlocked when the trust reaches 60%. 4. Unlocked when the trust level reaches 80%. Hidden. Trust 100% unlocked. When Xu Leyang was about to speak, he noticed the ring on the other person's ring finger. Chapter 6: Having lunch with Lin Kasin. Now we must be more alert. Are you a psychologist? Lin Kasin crossed her arms over her chest and asked coldly. Yes. 25. Right. Then you probably don't have a lot of work experience. How did you come up with the idea of becoming a psychological counselor? Are you capable of serving the counselors well? The other person's eyes were sharp and he looked straight into Xu Leyang's eyes. Why do you make it seem like you're interviewing for a job? Didn't you come to me on your own initiative? Xu Leyang remained calm and looked back at the scrutinizing look in the other person's almond-shaped eyes. Everyone has their own areas of expertise. For me, as long as I can relieve the stress of my customers, that's enough. So what are you good at? There's nothing written on the electronic screen outside the door. It's 8:40, and there are still 20 minutes. If you keep asking questions, you'll have to go back to work. To Xu Leyang's surprise, Lin Kexin's face darkened, and for a moment he revealed a sense of helplessness. I have a hard time falling asleep at night now. I feel dizzy and chest tightness as soon as I close my eyes, and I often. Before he finished speaking, the phone rang. Lin Kexin answered the phone with a serious expression, speaking a language that Xu Leyang could not understand. Xu Leyang took the time to look at his personal panel. Name, Xu Leyang. System level, primary 20,100 million. Skills, self-defense, tracking, design. Skill points, 85. Skill shop. Work experience in foreign trade companies, 30 points. Foreign language, 20 points. Skill note, Lin Kexin has mastered 6 foreign languages, including listening, speaking, reading and writing skills, translation theory and application. So awesome. Xu Leyang couldn't help but shout out, but was met with a roll of the eyes from the other party. Trust, 0%. What kind of attitude is this? Let me hear what you are talking about. Learning skills, foreign language, working experience in foreign trade companies. Skill points, 35. After a brief dizziness, Xu Leyang listened quietly. He could now fully understand that the other party was speaking the language of the Middle East region of this world. As soon as he hung up the phone, he immediately said, "No wonder I can't sleep well. There's something wrong with the goods. There's less than half a month left. If it's delayed, I'll have to pay hundreds of millions. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to sleep well either." Deng deng deng. Just as he finished speaking, there were a few quick sounds of high heels tapping on the ground. Xu Leyang was surrounded by a fragrant breeze. The grey and elegant figure grabbed the armrest of the chair, leaned over and gave him a chair bang. The delicate and mature little face was right in front of me, and I could smell her breath and the fragrance on her body. Her moist red lips were half open, revealing a few white teeth, and her face was full of incredible expressions. "You know Abraham. Trust, 15%. What happened to your kidney? Why did it suddenly increase so fast? In this world, Middle Eastern languages, including Arabic, are so difficult to learn that only a few prestigious universities offer courses. For many foreign trade companies, employees who are proficient in Middle Eastern languages are hard to come by. Xu Leyang now masters 2 Middle Eastern languages, Abraham and Spokenese, in addition to the universally used British, French, German, and Spanish. So what if I understand? So what if I don't understand? How much do you know? The other party had recovered from the shock, but still held Xu Leyang firmly on the chair. Being looked at like this, especially being glared at just now, Xu Leyang felt a little annoyed. "I'll tell you next time you come wearing black stockings." It was exactly 9 o'clock when Lin Kexin left the consultation room. Before leaving, she gave him a meaningful look. "Hot tilde." Xu Leyang let out a sigh of relief. Why is it so tiring to talk to her? Then he opened an Abelian website and found a few videos. After a morning of testing his Abelian skills, he found that he had no problem speaking Abelian. "That's great, I can understand it all. But I gained useless knowledge. I'm not going abroad, and there's no study material in Arabic. It's even more impossible to work in a foreign trade company, because they won't hire me without a diploma, and I don't want to work for them." Xu Leyang stretched, picked up his phone, and prepared to order takeout for lunch. Ding dong. The doorbell rang again. When I opened the door, I saw a familiar face, or rather, the elegant female manager whom I had just met this morning. "I'm off duty. Let's have a meal together." They both spoke at the same time. "Until next time." Lin Kexin shook a rectangular plastic package in her hand. "Don't you want to see it?" In the underground parking lot, inside Xu Leyang's car. After Lincoln sat in the passenger seat, she did not fasten her seat belt immediately. Put your hands into the grey mass and pull out a piece of flesh. A piece of tender white fleshy thigh is exposed. I took it off, opened the package, took out a pair of 15D black stockings and put them on. The whole process was done in one go. Then he started looking for something on his phone, ignoring Xu Leyang, who was looking confused beside him. Just as he was about to speak, Lincoln suddenly placed the phone screen across his eyes. What does this mean? Xu Leyang looked at the line of Arabic text displayed above and said casually. It's a double negative, but it doesn't mean affirmative. It's a semi-inverted sentence, and in Abraham it has to keep its original meaning. Tilde. Lincoln sighed, put away his phone, sat up straight, and rubbed his temples hard. Xu Leyang adjusted his sitting position. Trust, 40%. Unlock 2 pieces of personal information and get 10 skill points. Bonus of 400,000 will be credited to your account along with your salary on the 1st of the next month. Skill points, 45. So fast. Unbuttoning 2 strips at once. It doesn't match her cool temperament at all. We made a mistake on this issue, and I didn't check it at the time. As a result, the specifications of the goods were wrong, and the transportation method was also wrong. If we can't deliver on time this time, the loss will be several hundred million yuan, and more importantly, we will lose the local market that we just opened to our competitors. Lincoln still closed his eyes and rubbed his temples, his tone revealing weakness and helplessness. Is this a trade secret? Calculate. Then I'm leaving. The less you know, the longer you live. Just as Xu Leyang was about to open the car door, Lincoln grabbed his arm and glared at him with murderous eyes. Why are you running? I'm not going to kill you. Do you believe this yourself? Doesn't she hate contact with the opposite sex? Why did she touch me? Lincoln lowered the seat slightly and leaned back in it, her black silk feet resting on the carpet, her high heels falling to one side. We're all going to have dinner together, and I don't even know your name. Lincoln. Xu Leyang started the car, his excitement still not fading. He just made 400,000 in such a short time, so he would deposit it next month. Chapter 7 Lincoln's Commission. Personal information. 1. Eat spicy food at noon and light food at night, and the order must not be reversed. Do not eat fish, mutton and mushrooms, do not eat sweets, do not drink cold drinks, and do not like to eat fruits. Have extremely high requirements for skin care products. Can drink a lot. 2. I want to be nostalgic about things I have given up, but I will try to get things I have identified. I will dream of a hero who will save me in difficult times. Why are you acting like a little girl, still thinking about being a hero and saving the damsel in distress? Why don't you eat so much? What about your underwear style? What about your bathing information? What would you like to eat, Manager Lin? Xu Leyang waited for a while, but there was no response. He turned around and found that Lincoln had fallen asleep. Her head tilted towards him, her black hair covering half of her delicate face. Her breathing was even, and her chest rose and fell rhythmically. This is the first time I have seen such a top-notch woman up close. Her mature charm and the fragrance emanating from her body go straight into my nose. Tilde. Lincoln uttered a comfortable hum, then slowly woke up, and put on a black men's business jacket. The owner of the jacket was swiping his phone at the side. Where are we? Open-air parking lot in Canal Park. How long have I slept? 1 hour. It's 1:30 now. Lincoln turned her head, took out a dressing mirror from her bag, and quickly tidied her appearance. Then she looked at Xu Leyang with a slightly complaining look on her face. Why didn't you wake me up? You seem to be sleeping soundly. Sleeping is more important to you than eating right now. Trust, 41%. Are you still hungry? Do you want to go eat something else? Lincoln shook her head and straightened the back of the chair. She did not return the clothes to Xu Leyang, but put them on her black silk thighs. Are you really just a counselor? Lincoln turned her head and looked out the passenger window. It was drizzling. She seemed to have changed her personality and became a gentle woman. Of course. I'm a serious psychologist. So serious that you ask others to change into black stockings. Black stockings are God's gift to men. Where did you learn, Abraham? It took me 7 years to master it. Just look around. My level is much worse than yours. I can't say I learned it from you. Lincoln sighed softly, leaving a cloud of mist on the car window. Your level is not worse than mine. If you don't want to talk, forget it. I should still be your guest now. I haven't finished talking this morning. Okay. But now I have to work overtime, so I have to be paid 1.5 times the salary. I didn't lie to you this morning. I couldn't sleep at night during this period. As soon as I closed my eyes, a lot of things like balls of wool appeared in my head, and then I felt like I couldn't breathe. I looked for a lot of ways to fall asleep on the internet, but they didn't work. Actually, Lincoln hesitated to speak, but finally gave up. Xu Leyang did not continue to ask. Here, you have to eat something at noon. It's good for your stomach. Xu Leyang handed over a small package. Beef jerky, spicy. Trust, 42%. Lincoln opened the car window a little, and the cold autumn wind mixed with moist air instantly rushed in, blowing her hair onto Xu Leyang's face. Very itchy and very fragrant. Would you consider working for me? Lincoln still tilted her head and looked out the window. No. I'm pretty busy at work. If I were your subordinate, I would be forced to work overtime every day. You haven't had a single customer this morning. How do you know? Well, I have an online consulting business. I can offer you a higher salary than you are currently making. Forget it, let's just do our job well. I just want every worker to be able to spend every day in ease. I will never work for capitalists. Who wants to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning when I can sleep until I wake up naturally? Our marketing department has been very busy recently. Problems come one after another. In addition, we have business in other regions. The company is short of people who can speak Middle Eastern languages. Some work can only be outsourced, which leads to other problems. There was a hint of anxiety and helplessness in Lincoln's words. Your cargo ship is broken too. It's too late to reload. You either need to repair the ship or mobilize your warehouse in West Asia to transfer the goods. But this involves multiple countries and the procedures are very complicated. Xu Leyang recalled Lincoln's call in the morning, and several plans naturally came to his mind. He said it directly without thinking too much. Immediately, he noticed something was wrong. Lincoln turned around, her mature face full of disbelief, her red lips slightly parted, trembling slightly, and her beautiful eyes staring at him. This plan is the same as what I thought. You have experience working in a foreign trade company. What position did you hold? No. I'm just a counselor. You can't fool me. Lincoln said without any doubt. Then I will entrust you to help me process a few documents for twice your fee. My work pressure will be reduced, and my psychological pressure will also be reduced. This is within the scope of your job. You can say that, but I can wear a lace-up tomorrow. Stop talking and send me the file. Seeing that the other party didn't respond for a long time, Xu Leyang glanced to the right quietly, and saw Lincoln staring at him with murderous eyes. She returned to her previous cold and aloof aura. You gave up your job at Liandar Group just to see other people wearing black stockings? Why did you refuse so readily before? That's because I'm ignorant. Manager Lin, please don't take it personally. 2:30 in the afternoon. Xu Leyang returned to the office. His coat had just covered Lincoln's body and thighs, and now his nostrils were filled with her smell. He exchanged penguins and phone numbers with Lincoln. This was the first female contact in his phone after he traveled through time. Lincoln's phone number is 136XXXXXXXX. Visible to VIP. At the same time, in the office of Liandar Group on the top floor of Jinhai Building, there was a whisper of discussion. Lincoln was admired by everyone in the company, no matter her looks or abilities. Her every move was naturally watched. Did you see it? Manager Lin is wearing black stockings today. That's not right. Wasn't she wearing flesh-colored stockings this morning? What happened at noon? I have to start using my imagination. Oops, I can't concentrate on my work. Forget about it. I'm busy enough with the Middle East orders right now. Be careful or you'll get scolded again. I feel like I'll lose a layer of skin if she glares at me. Ding ding ding. Xu Leyang had just come back from the toilet when the penguin avatar started moving. 1432 Lincoln request to be at the front, with a template, look at it yourself. Give it to me before 4 o'clock. The other party is sending you a file. You have successfully received the file. 14:33 Xu Leyang, is 5 o'clock okay? The other party is sending you a file. 14:33 Xu Leyang, okay, 4 o'clock is 4 o'clock. The other party cancelled the file sending. The feeling of being dominated by work before the time travel is back. Forget it, for the sake of money. She pays 2,000 an hour, which is not bad. Xu Leyang unzipped the files and found that they were all related to the shipment from the Middle East of Liandar Group, contract clauses to be translated, as well as some correspondence and plans. I didn't find any money or other confidential things involved. It's normal, less trouble. He took a quick glance and then went back to work. The other party successfully accepted your file. 15:59 Linkason, did you finish it a long time ago and deliberately give me less time? Fuck. They can find this too. 4 p.m. I just finished it. It's my first time doing it, so I'm not very experienced yet. 16:01 Linkason, do you think I will believe it? 16:32 Linkason, not bad. I'll treat you to a meal this afternoon and give you today's money. 16:35 How can I let a girl pay? I will pay next time. I have something to do today. Please transfer the money to my account 6210 XXXX 969. After I eat your meal, I have to work overtime tonight. Judging from today's translation, at least 10 parts have not been translated. I can't finish it even if I don't eat or drink for a week. This woman is very bad. Xu Leyang stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, looking at Shanghai City bathed in the drizzle, stretched himself, and pinched his shoulders. It seems like there are more rainy days recently. Wait for the light, wait for the light, wait for the light, wait for the ding. The 5 o'clock bell rang. Turn off the lights, lock the door, and leave work. Chapter 8 The Joy of Making Money. The courtyard where Xu Leyang lives is not too big, but it is more than enough to park a car. When he drove back to his residence, he attracted the attention of people around him. Does someone who drives a 3 Series live here? This is old lady Wang's yard. Her daughter must have returned. I saw her driving a similar car last Chinese New Year. That's not surprising. Old lady Wang has 7 or 8 courtyards here. If you count 3 households in each courtyard, that's more than 30,000 yuan a month. Xu Leyang parked the car and just happened to meet the old landlord, who heard the noise and came out with a spatula. The young man also bought a car. Don't you want to squeeze into the subway? The old man did not overreact and still had a smile on his face. Har har, it's you who can see it at a glance. Come and eat, it's just ready. It won't be numb today. I made it for 2 people. It would be a waste if you didn't come. Xu Leyang still wanted to refuse, but the landlord's cooking skills were really irresistible to his stomach. Spicy chicken, tiger skin green peppers, hot and sour shredded potatoes, tomato and egg soup. These are what I said yesterday. I haven't made it for a long time, and I almost forgot the skill. The old man handed Xu Leyang a bowl of rice with a kind smile. Millimeter, delicious. Xu Leyang finished the bowl in no time. Thanks to Linkason, he hadn't eaten anything all day. Then I ate while chatting with the landlord about the news on TV. This time, with his strong persistence, he finally got the job of washing dishes. It was almost 8 o'clock in the evening when I returned to my room. I stood in the living room, browsed my phone, ate some food, took a shower at 8:30, and then lay down on the bed. Buzz. A message popped up on the phone, indicating that 4,000 renminbi had been deposited into the bank card. This afternoon, from 2:30 to 4 o'clock, an hour and a half, she calculated for 2 hours. Not bad. I unlocked 2 pieces of personal information today and earned 400,000 yuan. At this 4,000 yuan, it's pretty good. Looking at the balance display, Xu Leyang was overjoyed, thinking that there would be 600,000 waiting for him at the beginning of next month. He turned off the alarm before going to bed at 12 o'clock. If I still wake up at 6:30 in the morning, it would be an insult to Mrs. Tong. I'm sorry, Sister Tong, I was wrong. At 6:30 in the morning, Xu Leyang woke up on time. The biological clock of a worker has left a deep mark on him. He looked at the dark sky outside the window and couldn't fall asleep. No, you can't get up. Even if you lie down and play games, you have to play until 8 o'clock. It takes time for a new biological clock to form. So he opened a mobile game about naval warfare. Looking at his wife in the game, he felt a little disappointed. Last month, his wife's action figure was on sale, but he didn't get a chance to buy one. Boom, boom, boom. There was a knock on the door, and at the same time, the slightly anxious voice of the elderly landlord could be heard. "Boy, are you in there?" Boy. Xu Leyang, who was playing games, checked the time. It was past 8 o'clock. He was afraid that the old man had something urgent to do, so he quickly got dressed and got up to open the door. The landlord stood at the door with a worried look on his face. When the old man saw Xu Leyang open the door, he obviously breathed a sigh of relief. "I saw your car still parked in the yard during work hours. I thought something happened to you, so I came to check it out." It's okay. I'll take half a day off today." "Oops, sorry to bother you sleeping." No. Thank you. I was just getting ready, too." Looking at the apologetic old man, Xu Leyang felt a warm feeling in his heart. Ding ding ding. Just as he was brushing his teeth, the penguin sound rang out. Message from Lin Kasin. 8:55 not here yet. 8:57 our boss requires us to start work at 11:29. 8:58 screenshot, working hours, 09:00:11:30, 14:30:17:00. This move is ruthless. 8:59 I have something to do in the morning, I will come in the afternoon. 9 o'clock okay. Since there are no customers now, I'll make some money from her first. Besides, it's a lot of money. As long as it doesn't take up my rest time. Xu Leyang stayed in bed for a while, then checked the time. It was 11 o'clock. Then he got up and started the car in the yard. He was going to have lunch outside and then go directly to the office. When we were halfway through the journey and had not yet left the old town, we saw a familiar figure on the side of the road. "Grandma Wang, where are you going?" "I'll take you there." "Xiaoshu, don't worry about me. Go and do your work. I'm going to the Shanghai City affiliated hospital." "Then please get in the car quickly. I won't be at work until this afternoon." Xu Leyang forced the old man into the car and changed the navigation to Shanghai City affiliated hospital. "Are you feeling unwell? I see you're walking in good spirits." "It's an old problem. I've always had blood pressure problems. I go to the hospital regularly to get some medicine." Xu Leyang naturally didn't want to interfere in other people's affairs, so he drove all the way to the hospital parking lot. "Then I'll accompany you and take you home after I prescribe the medicine." "Don't come here, there are too many people here, go and get busy." The landlord pushed Xu Leyang into the car while talking. Facing the old man's attitude of not leaving until he left, he had no choice but to leave first. "I ate something on the way." When I arrived at the underground parking lot of Jinhai building, it was exactly 1:30 p.m. I parked the car in the old place, parking space 325 in Area B. Huh? Why did she stop here? The red C43 that was parked opposite him yesterday is now parked in parking space 324 next to him. After arriving at the office, locking the door and closing the curtains, Xu Leyang lay down on the sofa. He stared at the deposit message on his phone for a while, and then he felt sleepy again. He put the phone screen against his chest and fell into a deep sleep. Ding ding ding. In a daze, he was woken up by the exclusive message of Penguin Software. I looked at the time and it was exactly 2 p.m. Chapter 9 Article 3 Personal Information. Turn on your computer. The other party is sending you a file. 2 p.m. Lin Kasin same request as yesterday. 14:01 How did you know I came to the office? 14:01 Give it to me before work tomorrow. 14:03 No way, the file is so big. 14:03 The salary is based on your ability. As long as you don't slack off, you can finish it before leaving get off work. 14:04 Do you know what I am capable of? 14:04 Instead of typing, why not start now? Xu Leyang opened the files one by one and glanced through them first. Why are there not only Arabic but also German today? Oh, it turns out it's the shipping company they chose earlier. There are still some reports and plans to revise. There's a lot to do today. Xu Leyang didn't think about it anymore and started working hard. 3 hours, 6,000 yuan. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he turned off the computer on time, stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, looked into the distance, and relaxed his eyes and body. Although the task has been completed, it will not be sent to Lin Kasin now. She may be asked to make changes here and there, so she should wait until tomorrow when she goes to work. My current task is to accumulate 3 consultants. I have 2 now, and I don't know when the next one will come. Should I do some advertising? Forget it, let's get familiar with it for a while first. When driving to the underground garage, as expected, Linkeson's car was still parked there. After returning to his residence, the landlord called him to eat again. Roasted chicken with radish, minced meat and eggplant, stir-fried Chinese cabbage, and mapo tofu were Xu Leyang's dinner today. Xiaoshu, from now on, just come here directly after get off work, and I won't call you every time. I don't feel comfortable bothering you every day. I'm free now so I can just sit there and do nothing. It won't interfere with anything. Xu Leyang didn't want to cause any more trouble for others, so he agreed immediately. Then I'll give you the meal allowance. Otherwise, I'd be embarrassed to come. No need. I knew you were a good kid the first time I saw you. I'm very happy that you are willing to talk to an old man like me every day. Why do I need your money? If you need to talk to someone in the future, feel free to come find me. He has made up his mind that when he moves out, he must pay for the food. After washing the dishes and watching TV news with the old man, Xu Leyang returned to his room. The next day, I woke up on time at 6:30 without an alarm clock. I have to send yesterday's information to Linkeson before going to work today, so I decided to get up early. Brush your teeth and wash your face, drink a cup of warm water, go to the toilet, get dressed and go out. It's raining again. When we arrived at the parking lot, the conspicuous red Mercedes was still parked there. 8:58. Xu Leyang turned on the computer and found Linkeson on Penguin. Sending file to other party. The other party successfully received the file. The time was exactly 9 o'clock, perfect. Just as he was leaning back in his chair, waiting for the other party to transfer the money, the clear and rapid sound of high heels tapping on the ground suddenly came from the corridor outside the door. Deng deng deng. The sound became louder and louder, and judging from the direction, it was coming towards his office. The door was pushed open with a bang and Linkeson walked in quickly. She was wearing a dark red tight long skirt today. Her curvy figure was wrapped in a black suit on the outside, and she was wearing a pair of black high heels that showed off her feet. Her hair is neatly tied up behind her head, giving her a different kind of mature temperament. Her face was full of surprise, as if she had discovered something extraordinary. After entering the door, she walked straight to Xu Leyang, bringing a gust of fragrance. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Xu Leyang was frightened by her posture. You also speak German. Why don't you tell me? Didn't you send it to me yesterday? I was too busy yesterday and mixed up some files. I didn't plan to send you the information. I doubt you did it on purpose. Linkeson's eyes dodged for a moment, and she immediately changed the subject. Did you also edit the background of this report? She raised the color-printed report in her hand. Yes, didn't you mark a few issues on it? The original version was so tacky, the key points weren't highlighted, and it didn't match the text at all. I made some changes and adjusted it for you. That's what I did for an hour. Linkeson said in a low voice. What did you say? I have so much to say. First, tell me how to modify the background of this chart. I usually only check whether the content of the report is correct, and the layout is all based on the template. I feel much more comfortable after you did it this time. Linkeson pulled up a chair and sat next to her while Xu Leyang demonstrated the process to her on the computer. Here, you can enlarge it a little bit and move it to this position. Then make this area a little darker, so that it has a more formal feel. The data below is annual, so make the monthly data smaller, otherwise people won't know where to look. Linkeson pointed at the screen and asked, while Xu Leyang explained. The two of them were discussing like close friends. Unconsciously, the distance between them was getting closer and closer. Linkeson was almost in Xu Leyang's arms. Got it, Manager Lin. Use visuals to highlight the key points. After listening to the introduction, Linkeson let out a long sigh and looked at Xu Leyang with scrutiny. Do you also know art design? No. How much more stuff do you have hidden? In addition to shock, there was also a hint of desire in Linkeson's eyes. Compared to this, what about the black stockings with hollow lace you promised me last time? I wore it yesterday. I didn't see it. I came to see you in the morning, but you were not there. I was in the office in the afternoon, but you didn't come. You're playing dirty. And what I just did is considered technical consultation, so I'll charge extra. I won't pay you less. Young woman. Where are the young women? Xu Leyang stood up suddenly and turned his head to look around. Lin Kesun wanted to say something when she suddenly saw Xu Leyang's computer screen. Why is your e-drive almost full, but the other drives are empty? They are all study materials. At this time, her phone rang again. Wait for me after get off work at noon. After leaving these words, he looked at Xu Leyang meaningfully and left in a hurry. The moment she walked out the door, Xu Leyang imprinted the scene he saw in his mind. Trust, 60%. Unlock a piece of personal information and get 10 skill points and a bonus of 200,000. The bonus will be credited to your account along with your salary at the end of the month. Skill points, 50. Personal information, 3. She does it once a month when taking a shower. She is very satisfied with her breast shape, but is worried that her waist and thighs will get bigger. Her underwear is old-fashioned. She sleeps in a separate room from her husband, has no children, and wants a divorce but faces obstacles. Is her husband seriously ill? How can he sleep in a separate room with such an S-class mature woman by his side? Chapter 10. You traitor. Today is Friday and the weather is colder than usual. There were still no guests in the psychological counseling room. Xu Leyang stood in front of the French window, watching the matchbox-sized cars coming and going in the rain downstairs. Don't rush now. There's no point in rushing. We've only just opened, and we already have 2 people who are pretty good. But how are other psychological counseling rooms doing? I need to find some time to go get some information. Once you are truly lost in thought, time passes very quickly. Ding dong. It was already 12 noon when I heard the doorbell again. You helped me a lot in getting through this crisis. Thank you. Lin Kesun said in the car, with a rare relaxed expression on her face, but she still took off her high heels and threw them aside. I just get paid to do the job. You really don't want to come to Liandar Group? Your ability is definitely not good enough for me. Manager Lin, I'm just a psychological counselor. My biggest wish is to serve the public and let customers walk out of my office with a smile on their faces. Lin Kesun half opened her red lips and paused for a few seconds. Okay, I won't mention this matter anymore. But I will still entrust you with the same commission as I did these few times, of course, when you are free, and the price will remain the same. Is that okay? Sure. As long as you're still my guest. Lin Kesun undid her bun, and her black hair fell down like a waterfall, bringing out a fruity fragrance. Why are you driving? Just standing there. Okay, Manager Lin knows how to have fun. Hey, you traitor. What did you say about me? Lin Kesun turned around and glared at Xu Leyang. Isn't it? Not only did you betray your black stockings, but today you even betrayed your stockings. Will it be your high heels' turn next time? Didn't you notice the drop in temperature today? I don't understand how you learned Abraham and German like this. You don't understand this. Language and black silk are the same. Oh. Lin Kesun was amused for a second by Xu Leyang's unreasonable words, but then she immediately held it back. What kind of nonsense is this? When language is used to its fullest, it becomes a sense of language. To put it bluntly, it is a feeling. Grammar and rules and regulations can all be ignored. The brain's instantaneous reaction is a feeling. Black stockings, for men, are just that kind of feeling. Lin Kesun's biting gaze made his back numb, so Xu Leyang quickly shut up and drove. I find that you are indeed suitable for this job. I remembered that I hadn't asked her what she wanted to eat, and when I turned around, I saw that she had fallen asleep again. You think I'm your bed, don't you? Looking at the trust displayed by Lin Kesun, Xu Leyang began to feel puzzled. Will there be any difference at 60%? Lin Kesun gradually woke up from her deep sleep, and a man's coat was put on her body. The unique smell of the clothes went straight into her nose. I can fall asleep here. I never expected to fall asleep at noon before. Turning to look at the side, Xu Leyang was leaning on the seat with his head tilted back, and he hadn't woken up yet. His profile was quite good-looking and a little bit attractive. Lin Kesun didn't stand up, just watched quietly. Buzz buzz buzz. The phone suddenly vibrated. She picked up the phone and whispered. I understand. Put it on my desk first. 4:00 in the afternoon, okay. Going back. After answering the phone, Xu Leyang also woke up. Yeah. Sorry to wake you up. Linkason handed the clothes to Xu Leyang. Did you change your perfume? What else? The earrings have changed too. The one in the middle was red last time, but it's blue this time. You can see that. It's obvious. Trust, 61%. What time did you get off work yesterday? The two had returned to the underground parking lot, entered the elevator, and stood one after the other. In order to ease the embarrassment, Xu Leyang found a random topic. I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock. We have arrived at the 20th floor. Remember to rest and don't get tired. Xu Leyang entered the office, turned on the electronic screen outside the door, played a few games, and looked at some study materials. An afternoon passed. Still no guests. Don't worry. Everything is difficult at the beginning. Be patient and wait for customers. Good days are yet to come. He consoled himself mentally as he drove home. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Xu Leyang, who had a big meal at the landlord's house, lay on the bed and stroked his bulging belly. At this time, a text message came. Your account 6969 received the transfer, the balance. I was given an extra 4,000. Was it the extra instruction this morning? Ding ding ding. Penguin rang. 2010 I think you received the money. 2012 received. 2013 I'm sorry for making you hungry again at noon today. She'll apologize. 2014 has your account been hacked? 2016 what am I like in your eyes? 2036 ambitious and capable. Excellent leadership skills and considerate of subordinates. A rare talent in the company and an ideal boss for employees. 2036 I am sorry to trouble you for taking 20 minutes to type these words. 2036 Xu Leyang no problem. You have withdrawn a message. 2037 Xu Leyang I am speaking from the heart. 2038 screenshot, no problem. 2039 my phone was infected with a virus just now. Is this the effect of a 60% trust rating? He proactively sent me a message. Speaking of mobile phones, Xu Leyang does plan to change his phone this weekend. The wall-mounted machine I'm using now has some lags, and it's been broken into pieces from being dropped. If a customer sees it, it will damage my image and affect other people's impression of me. Then buy a my TE60 Puta 16 plus 1T. At the weekend, Xu Leyang was far ahead. After buying the phone, he went to several famous psychological counseling offices in Binhai City to check out the locations. He found the list online. After 2 days of investigation, it was found that private psychological counseling rooms, unlike hospitals, have people coming in all the time. And the guests who come here basically leave after staying for more than an hour. Sometimes there is no one here for the whole day. As for what happens at night, I don't know. Xu Leyang felt a little comforted. Oh shit. On Monday when I went to work, my newly bought cell phone broke. The moment I opened the door and got out of the car, it slipped out of my jacket pocket. The wailing attracted onlookers from all around. This was not a matter of money, it was just that he fell before he could even warm up to the ground. How depressing. The month is almost over and the salary will be paid soon. This is the only way Xu Leyang can comfort himself. Ding dong. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the doorbell rang on time. Chapter 11 Chen Yao's invitation. Hello. I made an appointment last week. I remember. Please come in. I almost forgot about that. Chen Yao wore a purple fluffy sweater, a pair of white pleated loose pants, and a pair of stylish white shoes. Her wavy hair fell naturally in front of her chest, and she had a smile on her face that I hadn't seen last time. She still exuded a mature style. Name, Chen Yao. Age, 27. Height, 167. Occupation, interior designer. Trust, 20%. Personal information. 0. He has his own design studio and looks for inspiration at the seaside. He likes to drink sea salt honey macchiato and is particularly fond of cats. He doesn't like strangers to be too familiar with him and ask him all kinds of questions. He won't say a word to anyone who doesn't agree with him. He has been unable to work peacefully for the past month and has woken up 7 or 8 times from nightmares at night. In severe cases, he has hallucinations. He has consulted several psychologists, but they left after a few words. 1. Crazy about design, can talk endlessly about it. The dressing table she designed has won a National Furniture Design Award. She has a good impression of people who can actively understand her design concepts. Her underwear style is bold. She likes lace one-piece styles. She occasionally uses the shower head to find inspiration when taking a shower. Please take a seat. Trust, 23%. Xu Leyang's posture is becoming more and more professional now, and coupled with his handsome appearance and well-fitting clothes, he really gives people a sense of reassurance. I'm sorry last time, I was always the one doing the talking. Listening is part of my job. I'm an interior designer. I've been having nightmares lately and I've been waking up several times at night. She sat very straight, with her hands on her knees, her fingers intertwined, her eyes flickering. Do you always wake up from nightmares? Yeah. I looked for some methods on the internet, but they didn't work. Now I can't concentrate at work, so I thought I'd consult a professional to see if I can get some relief. How did you find me here? Xu Leyang smiled at her. I came to the 21st floor a few days ago to help set up a furniture design exhibition, one of which was my work. I happened to see a psychological counseling room opened here, so I thought of giving it a try. You mean the Baroque furniture exhibition upstairs? Xu Leyang did not choose to ask her directly why she was under mental stress. Since she did not say it clearly, there must be some reason, so he waited for her to speak. Yes. Have you been there, too? A flash of excitement appeared in Chen Yao's eyes. Trust, 30%. They were promoting it very strongly, so I went to take a look. As an outsider, I just watched for fun, but the furniture does have a sense of space and three-dimensionality. Xu Leyang immediately called upon Chen Yao's design knowledge. Then what? It has a gorgeous, unrestrained, and passionate feeling. Which piece of furniture impressed you the most? Chen Yao subconsciously moved her chair forward. My favorite is still the white dressing table. She exclaimed softly and almost stood up. She looked like an 18-year-old girl, not 27 at all. Tell me what places you like. Chen Yao urged eagerly with expectation in her eyes. The cabinet curves vary greatly, and there are many decorative patterns. The carvings are very three-dimensional, and the gold painting is also very eye-catching. I can personally feel the designer's passion and romance. Trust, 35%. Xu Leyang talked freely with his signature smile. These are just my layman's opinions. Don't take it seriously if I'm wrong. The other party shook his head slightly. There is no right or wrong in appreciating this thing. Different people will have different views. Even the same person will have different experiences depending on their mood. Ding dong. The doorbell rang, and the takeaway ordered by Xu Leyang arrived. It's cold today, how about a hot latte? Chen Yao smiled slightly and reached out to take it. Thanks. Another scratch on your hand. It's the same one that caught me last time. It's a kitten I just picked up. I ran into it at the door of the studio. It can be considered a kind of fate. As he said this, he showed Xu Leyang the lock screen of his phone, which was a little cow cat. Oh, it's still snow. Yeah. That's what I like the most, too. I heard they are very naughty and often make a mess at home. Yeah. Sometimes when I go back and see the mess on the ground, I really want to teach it a lesson. But as soon as I raise my hand, it starts to act coquettishly towards me again. Chen Yao covered her mouth and smiled, but her face was filled with happiness. Time passes by unknowingly. Wait for the light, wait for the light, wait for the light, wait for the ding. The 5 o'clock bell rang. She took a deep breath, as if she had made up her mind. She stood up suddenly and said, Can I treat you to dinner tonight? Trust, 40%. Unlock a piece of personal information and get 5 skill points. The bonus is 200,000 and will be credited to your account along with your salary on the first day of the next month. Skill points, 55. Personal information, 2. I love sweets and fried foods, and hate being lectured on my eating habits. I like listening to music and taking walks in the park. On rainy days I eat vanilla ice cream when I'm sad. It's quite suitable for the next trip. But it doesn't have what I want. Underground parking lot. After Xu Leyang called the landlord, he started the car. Chen Yao sat in the passenger seat, and the smell of perfume filled the car. I want to apologize. I was a little skeptical about your ability at first, so I had a bad attitude when we first met. I have also consulted several psychologists before, but the way they looked at me was abnormal, and they kept staring at me. Chen Yao was embarrassed to continue. I understand. There are many advertisements for psychological counselors on the internet now, deceiving people that they can make 200,000 yuan a month. There are also many people who have board certificates and do not know anything. By the way, where are we going to eat? Let's go to the music restaurant next to Binjiang Park. The environment there is pretty good. Good. Xu Leyang started to set up the navigation on his mobile phone. You're not familiar with Binhai yet? Yeah. I'm usually at home except when I'm in the office. I seldom go out. Real? Don't you think so? I thought you would drive this car every night to enjoy the nightlife. Somehow, Chen Yao felt relaxed now, so she started joking with Xu Leyang. When we arrived at our destination, it started to drizzle. Binhai is indeed a first-tier city, there are so many rich people there. Looking at the rows of luxury cars in front of the restaurant parking lot, Xu Leyang sighed. What's the use of money? It can't buy what I want. But you can use it to pay my consulting fees. At such a young age, you only know about money. Chen Yao was amused by Xu Leyang again. The exterior of the music restaurant is a polygonal art building with black and silver edges. It looks very stylish. It has 2 floors and is close to the river. Listening to music, enjoying the river view, and dining at the same time is a kind of pretentious enjoyment that Xu Leyang can hardly understand. The interior of the restaurant is basically yellow and warm, creating a warm atmosphere. Each seat is separated by a partition, and privacy is guaranteed. Xu Leyang and Chen Yao, one tall and handsome, the other fashionable and beautiful, attracted most people's attention as soon as they entered the door. Chen Yao chose a booth in the corner. She ordered a bunch of high-end looking sweets and fried foods, but Xu Leyang just wanted to eat, and the only meal on the menu was seafood risotto. As soon as the dishes were served, they started eating. In front of Chen Yao was a pile of squid rings with mustard mayonnaise, herb crisps, basil tomato bread rolls and a bunch of other things Xu Leyang had never seen before, and he put them into his mouth one bite after another. You don't seem surprised at all that I eat these things. Eating is your own business, why do you care about other people's opinions? But the way you eat doesn't look like a designer at all. Xu Leyang was kicked lightly on the leg. Every time I eat with others, there are always people who say that I am not eating healthy and that I should do this and that. I am too lazy to listen to them, so now I eat alone. They say that because they envy you for not gaining weight after eating. I've gained 3 pounds recently. That's because the scale is inaccurate, an error. Trust, 45%. In a corner of the Golden Hall, a joyful atmosphere is spreading. At 8:30 in the evening, Xu Leyang and his companion walked out of the restaurant. I said it was my treat, but in the end, you still paid. Chen Yao looked at Xu Leyang resentfully. Then how about this, next time I'll invite you out for dinner, and you pay. Okay. It's a deal. A smile immediately appeared on her face. Looking at the purple figure still standing there, and then looking at the riverside park where only a few street lights were lit in the night, Xu Leyang made a suggestion. We ate a bit too much just now, let's go for a walk in Binjiang Park. Wait here, I'll get the umbrella. Chapter 12 Chen Yao's story. Maybe because of the rain, there were not many people in Riverside Park. Xu Leyang and Chen Yao were walking along the riverside path, holding an umbrella. This was a place specially built for citizens in Shanghai City to have a good walk after dinner. On the river side of the park, a 2-meter wide wooden walkway was built that runs through the entire park. The two walked side by side without saying a word. When she reached the dark area between 2 street lamps, she stopped and slowly began to tell her story. My family arranged a blind date for me. I like my own space and work without interruptions, and he never asked about my affairs. I thought it was a sign of trust in me. Until half a year ago, when I attended a dinner party in the Binhai International Hotel, I saw him coming out of the center opposite with his arms around a man. Speaking of this, Chen Yao's tone twitched a little. Now that I think about it, there is something wrong. Every time I go out to eat with him, he just eats a few bites perfunctorily and then leaves in a hurry with an excuse. He must be using me as a shield. It's not too late to find out before you get married. I explained the situation to my family, but they still forced me to be with him. That person has a certain status in Binhai and knows about my son's affairs. She hopes to cover it up by getting married. What kind of fantasy family is this? In the darkness, Chen Yao took a deep breath. I had no relationship with him a long time ago, but he has started contacting me frequently recently. Straight. He is almost 30, and his family is urging him to get married. He doesn't work, so he dares not disobey his family's orders. The rain was getting heavier and heavier, hitting the umbrella with a crackling sound. Of course I won't agree. The two companies used their connections to make things difficult for me at work. I lost a lot of old clients, and things in my studio were stolen and damaged. Calling the police didn't help. Participating in competitions was also restricted in every way. I just wanted to do good design, but they wanted to deprive me of my only interest. Now every night when I'm alone in the studio, I always see someone hiding and staring at me. I checked the surveillance, but there was no one. Chen Yao finished her words in one breath, and she started crying at the end. She was in the dark, so she couldn't see her expression clearly. I have made up my mind. If the day comes when they force me to get married, I will die in front of them. The resolute tone made Xu Leyang's heart tremble. From the sound of her voice, she can do it. Then you must call me before you die. You want to persuade me? With the self-righteous, know-it-all attitude of an irrelevant person. What do you know about me? Chen Yao was still standing there, her tone suddenly turned cold, and she seemed to be a different person in an instant. She exuded an aura that said, keep away from strangers. Perhaps this is her truest self at the moment. How can I advise you? Of course I will serve you until the last second of your life. You are my client after all. Tell me how you want to die and I will tell you whether it will hurt or not. Many people are not afraid of death but of pain. After a few seconds of silence, Xu Leyang spoke in a relaxed tone. Since I'm treating you to dinner today, don't forget to say a few good words for me when you get to the King of Hell. I'll open a counseling room in the underworld when I go there. And don't forget to pay. Silence spread in the darkness, with only the sound of rain echoing in my ears. The rain is gradually easing. Xu Leyang was suddenly punched. Don't pretend, I didn't try hard. Trust, 66%. Unlock a piece of personal information and get 5 skill points. The bonus is 200,000, which will be credited to your account along with your salary on the 1st of the next month. Skill points, 60. Personal information, 3. Trying hard to get rid of family control, going on blind dates many times at the request of family, having no driver's license and driving experience, needs active consent from others, and occasionally reads study materials when allowing the other party to enter his or her life. He or she will let the other party call him or her by a name close to him or her. Let's keep going. The two walked quietly along the trail, the scent of rain all their way, and the wooden floor under their feet made a creaking sound that continued all the way to the cold drink shop at the exit of the park. Thanks. Taking the vanilla ice cream handed to her, Chen Yao's eyes showed a hint of difference. How do you know my taste? Have you investigated me? What's the point of investigating you? I just got hit by you. Just as Xu Leyang finished speaking, he was punched on the waist again. If you hit me again, my kidney stones will be knocked out. Then do you still dare to eat seafood? The one who ate 3 plates of fried food has no right to tell me off. You still say that? The two of them came to the parking lot while playing around. Beautiful lady, we meet again. Just as the two were about to open the car door, a young man with dyed blonde hair walked over from the opposite direction. He is of medium build, has a cool perm, wears a clover green pullover sweater, and the rest of his clothes are all branded. He looks like a second-generation nouveau riche. The yellow-haired man walked up to Chen Yao and pointed his thumb at the 718 spider behind him. Chen Yao's purple outfit was particularly eye-catching in the night, and with her slightly wet hair sticking to her face, the mature and charming look of an older sister was indeed not something that a young man like Huang Mao could resist. She immediately showed disgust and got into the passenger seat. Xu Leyang followed her in. Only Huang Mao was left standing in the wind. Do you know each other? Chen Yao shook her head. I was harassed by him here a month ago, and he left only after I called the police. It's really disappointing, as the atmosphere is apparently quite good now. Doesn't this show that you are attractive? Say that again and I'll pinch you. The fight between the two was clearly seen by Huang Mao. As soon as the car started, the yellow-haired man walked from the passenger seat to Xu Leyang's side, cursed at him loudly, and raised his middle finger. Xu Leyang ignored it and the car started slowly. Bang! The yellow-haired man kicked the car door. Draft. You can't hear me talking to you, right? Stop the car. Xu Leyang unbuckled his seatbelt and was about to get out of the car, but his arm was tightly grasped by Chen Yao. Don't want. Her pretty face was filled with nervousness and her hands were trembling slightly. There's no need to bother with this kind of person. Let's go. Xu Leyang said calmly. If he had kicked my people, it would be fine. But if he kicked my car, that's not okay. You are quite sensible, why are you so stubborn about this kind of thing? Don't get involved with that kind of person, it's not worth it. He doesn't deserve it. Chen Yao shook Xu Leyang's arm hard, tears welling up in her eyes. Trust me, it'll be fine. Xu Leyang's calm smile inexplicably made her feel at ease, and she slowly loosened her hands. They have other people, don't get out of the car. And, don't call the police. Chapter 13 Self-Defense Techniques. After getting off the car, Xu Leyang first looked at the door. Fortunately, the primer was not damaged. Is Huang Mao so weak? You're still a man, let's talk over there. The yellow-haired man pointed his chin at the dark woods nearby, then walked over with his hands in his pockets. Two tall and strong accomplices in black clothes appeared from nowhere on the road, with a big "Yob" written on their chests. They also had hard and thick objects in their hands. You think you're awesome just because you drive a 3 Series, right? You're the first one in Binhai who dares to ignore me. In the dense grove, Xu Leyang was surrounded by 3 people with no way to retreat. I've only had my car for a little over a week and you kicked it up. I'm calling the police. His tone was surprisingly calm. Har ha 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 ha, do you want me to help you make the call? Xu Leyang seemed to tell a joke, which made the 3 of them laugh so hard that they fell over. You are still too young, brother. Today I will broaden your horizons and let you feel the warmth of the seaside on this cold rainy night. Huang Mao's laughter hasn't stopped yet, as if he is used to this kind of thing. Why? Xu Leyang sighed in his heart. He believed that the other party was not lying. The more prosperous a city is, the darker it is behind it. In the eyes of these people, the law is just a joke. If it were in the past, I would have failed today. Let him lie down, I'm going to crush his dick first. Huang Mao imagined some of the things Xu Leyang and Chen Yao would do, and he felt jealous. Get down here. Yob behind me said something. Next, something wonderful happened to Xu Leyang. Without looking back, he could sense the person behind him swinging the steel pipe at his waist. The path was clearly imprinted in his mind. His body also subconsciously began to prepare to dodge and counterattack. Every muscle in his body was ready for battle, and he was filled with infinite power. With these feelings, he made a bold decision. Try it. Bang! With a dull thud, the steel pipe swung by the 1.8-meter-tall strong man slipped out of his hand and rolled onto the grass. It's nothing, not even a tickle. Your self-defense skills are really impressive. Grass. The man swinging the stick let out a low cry, his hand hurting from the shock. Switch to the no-damage mode. Xu Leyang immediately kicked him in the chest. The fat man in black groaned, flew backwards, hit his back hard against a tree, and then fell to the ground without moving. Without landing, he kicked another yob. I actually felt like I could beat 100 of them. These 2 must have fainted. It was my first time attacking, so I didn't control my strength well. Everything happened in a very short time, and by the time Huang Mao reacted, both of his men had been eliminated. I want you to die today. After saying that, he took out his cell phone and prepared to call someone. Waji, I thought you were going to do it yourself. Xu Leyang kicked the yellow-haired man's calf and knocked him to the ground. The yellow-haired man covered his calf and twisted his body left and right in pain. It was this foot that kicked my car just now. You kicked and broke my leg, I'm going to call someone to kill you, huh? Your leg isn't broken. The yellow-haired man's hand was covering his leg and he was touching it randomly. He clearly felt that his leg was broken just now. You? Before he could finish, Xu Leyang kicked him in the stomach. The yellow-haired man lay on the ground, holding his stomach and groaning in pain. Do you still want to kill me now? Huang Mao was halfway through his words when he was kicked in the stomach again. This kind of pain was excruciating and it was something he had never experienced before. Do you still want to kill me now? The question, without any emotion, came from the darkness again. You have the guts to make me, oh. Another painful kick. Xu Leyang stopped talking and kicked the yellow-haired man in the stomach every few seconds. Draft. Oh. IR. My dad is a male, oh. No matter how he was scolded, Xu Leyang just kicked quietly. He was able to control the strength well, making the yellow-haired man feel pain but not faint. No one is not afraid of pain, especially when the other person is so calm that it is impossible to communicate. Don't. Oh. My wrong. Oh. We should strip them naked to see if they have any injuries. The yellow-haired man finally began to beg for mercy. Xu Leyang had other plans in mind at this time, so he squatted down. I'll give you IQ test. I'll stop if you answer it correctly. Answer within 3 seconds. 2 naked men stand back to back and name a brand of toothpaste. 3, 2. Cold and sour. You're so jealous. Xu Leyang kicked the yellow-haired man and he lost consciousness. When he woke up again, he felt cold on the bottom and hot on the top. I was lying naked on the grass, with another naked companion lying on top of me. He instantly thought of the answer to the IQ test. The phone beside me was still on, showing the photos I had just taken. A full-body shot of myself and a close-up. His tilde. Wang Mao realized the seriousness of the problem. My family is well off, so I don't have to worry about anything in my life. The only thing that made him feel inferior was his size. Usually, when the other young men went out to have fun, they would take videos and show off to each other. But he never took any videos, always finding excuses to get away with it. That person must have taken the photo with his phone. When he thought of Xu Leyang's appearance, Wang Mao's stomach suddenly ached, as if he was stressed. He used the flashlight to illuminate his whole body. How come you're not hurt at all? Xu Leyang returned to the car and saw Chen Yao, who was waiting anxiously. If you don't come back, I'm really going to call the police. Seeing that there was nothing unusual on Xu Leyang's face or clothes, Chen Yao felt relieved. I don't know what kind of relationship they have with people like them. I don't want you to. I'm fine. Just took some artistic photos of that toothpick, skr. Chen Yao wanted to say something, but seeing Xu Leyang smirk, she could only gently tap him on the arm. She took out a tissue and wiped the rain off his face. Trust, 67%. The two exchanged contact information. Chen Yao's phone number is 139x8899 visible to non-VIPs. Take me to the studio. Working overtime at night. We don't have overtime. We are working at any time. As soon as Xu Leyang started the car, she uttered 2 malicious, humph sounds. What's wrong? I was almost fooled by you. Until just now, I thought you were a serious person. Isn't it? Chen Yao picked up something from the gap between the seats and waved it in front of Xu Leyang. She raised one corner of her mouth and stared at him coldly. Boss Xu is so elegant, he likes to do this kind of thing in the car. Trust, 60%. Oh shit. Don't surrender. You said I was stubborn. Achoo. Lin Kason, who was working overtime, suddenly sneezed, and the time in the lower right corner of the computer showed 10 p.m. She rubbed her shoulders, stood up and walked to the window, looked out at Shanghai City at night, then glanced at the window of an office downstairs, then closed the window and sat down in front of the computer. There are mountains of materials piled up around her, and the company's crisis has not yet passed. Tonight will be another sleepless night for her. Xu Leyang had finished washing up and was lying on the bed, thinking back to the scene in the grove at night. Although he had learned about the dark side of Shanghai City when he was doing odd jobs, today he really experienced it. I could spot the 2 guys in yobs, and a map of the parking lot appeared in my head with 2 red dots on it. Is this tracking technology? Ding ding ding. On Penguin, there was news from Chen Yao. 22:38 Boss Xu went home. 22:39 already lying in bed. 22:39 I can't believe it. 22:42 Why would I lie to you? What time is it? 22:43 I thought you were enjoying the nightlife with the owner of the stockings. 22:45 Do you usually wear black stockings? 22:45 Why are you asking this? 22:46 My phone was infected with a virus just now. Something happened to my kidney. 22:47 Thank you, Boss Xu, for coming tonight. 22:49 It's okay. And don't call me Boss Xu anymore. Calling me Xiao Xu is better than that. 22:52 Then I'll call you Xiao Yang, and you can also call me Xiao Yao. 22:53 That one T work, you are so much older than me. 22:54 Can he speak? Does a 2-year-old make him look much older? Expression, angry kitten. 22:55 I didn't say my age. 23:05 Voice, are you still serious? 23:06 The landlord's cat just stepped on my phone screen. 23:08 I continued working. 23:10 Go to bed early. 23:11 Year. Expression, good night, kitty. Chapter 14 New customers, new business. After a period of adaptation, Xu Leyang can already sleep until 8 o'clock in the morning and wake up naturally. This made him very happy, as the stigma of being a worker was becoming less and less. There is something even happier today. After reading the unread text messages on his phone, he sat up from the bed and roared. Bonus time. Last month, Lin Kesin and Chen Yao each unlocked 3 pieces of personal information, and the 1.2 million yuan reward has been received. The salary has been paid in advance, so it was not paid this time. Now that I have savings, I am one small step closer to my goal of 100 million. Get up, get dressed, wash your face and brush your teeth, drink a cup of warm water, and go to the toilet. I look up to the sky and let out a long cry. How can I be a worker? Time flies. It's already November 1st. But my third client hasn't shown up yet. While thinking, Xu Leyang had already arrived at the parking lot. Lin Kesin's car was still parked in parking space 324. Ding ding ding. Penguin News is here. 8:40 Xiao Yan, hurry up and get up. 8:41 It's time to get to the office. 8:45 I have had fewer nightmares recently. You are a pretty good psychologist. 8:47 Just good. 8:49 Stop being so conceited. During this period, Chen Yao would occasionally have a quarrel with him before going to work. Ding dong. As soon as I turned on the computer, the doorbell rang. Lin Kesin's mature face still looked cold. Today she was wearing a black long trench coat with a black tight cashmere sweater underneath. Her perfect chest was mostly covered by the trench coat. She was wearing blue jeans and a pair of black short boots. Her hair was neatly tied up behind her head. Just say you're a traitor. As soon as Lin Kesin entered the room, he walked straight towards Xu Leyang, knocked him on the head with the information in his hand, and dragged a chair to his side. Please help me put this file into the PPT you made yesterday, and then show me the plan you revised last time. 10 minutes later, Lin Kesin nodded with satisfaction. Only then did Xu Leyang realize that she seemed to still look a little tired. Are you busy again during this period? Well, I'll have a good rest in a few days. Lin Kesin patted Xu Leyang on the shoulder, then stood up and left. Wait a minute. Why did you throw your stockings into my car last time? I was planning to give it to you. Lin Kesin didn't look back and continued walking towards the door. Then why didn't you say it at the time? No, who wants this? Now that I've said it, just consider it as the consultation fee for this time. Bang. The door was closed. 60 minutes is 1,000 yuan. I just spent 10 minutes, which is 167 yuan. I exchanged it for a pair of stockings worn by a mature and elegant woman. Brothers, did I make a profit or a loss? Xu Leyang was about to find a file on the e-drive to study, when he suddenly thought of a very critical question. Sister Tong, are there any connections between trust and favorability? What will happen when it reaches 100%? The other party will love their host hopelessly, and this will never decrease. They will also maintain a good relationship with other wings that have full trust. Your sister-in-law is a little bit indecent. You don't treat everyone like this, do you? My kidneys can't take it. No. Ordinary people's trust will turn into respect. Only those who have been screened by the system will turn into favor. Don't worry about your health, there will be a reward of unlimited magazines in the future. Then I'll leave it to you, sister-in-law. By the way, my favorite book is Meng De Cao. Xu Leyang bowed to the void. What if a male customer comes? I have 100% trust in him, so he won't turn his back on me, will he? Male customers are automatically blocked from favor. If their host wants to use the back door, the system can. No, I don't want to. Ding dong. The doorbell rang again, and Xu Leyang looked at the time. It was 9:30. Come in. A young man in his 30s, wearing casual clothes, walked in. He wore glasses, was of medium build, thin, had a side-parted hairstyle, and was balding. Name, Zhao Kang. Age, 31. Height, 172. Occupation, training institution manager. Trust, 10%. Personal information. 0. Graduated from a teacher training college, started from scratch. Excellent professional skills, my son is my pride. Recently I have a conflict with my wife, the key students in the training class have poor grades, and my hair is falling out seriously. 1. Unlocked when the trust reaches 20%. 2. Unlocked when the trust reaches 40%. 3. Unlocked when the trust reaches 60%. 4. Unlocked when the trust level reaches 80%. Hidden. Trust 100% unlocked. Hello. My name is Zhao Kang, and I'm the person in charge of Linksai Education. I want to discuss something with you. Hello, please take a seat. Xu Leyang's standard professional smile, paired with a slim-fitting suit, gives people a sense of intimacy and competence. Trust, 13%. This person looks familiar, I seem to have seen him somewhere. Linksai Education is located on the same floor. Yes. So we are neighbors. There's your ad in the elevator. That person on it must be you. Zhao Kang straightened his body slightly, a slightly smug smile on his face. Oh no. I was forced to do this. Several of my colleagues didn't want to be on camera, so I was the only one who came. Is there no one to manage the remedial classes here? Zhao Kang was stunned for a moment, not understanding why Xu Leyang asked this question. We at Linksai Education mainly provide extracurricular tutoring for junior and senior high school students. You are a psychological counselor, and you know that children nowadays are under great pressure from studying, but they have few ways to relieve stress. Although there are psychologists in schools, students are ashamed and afraid of being laughed at, so they dare not go. Zhao Kang paused and pushed up his glasses. We are tutors, and to put it bluntly, making money is our top priority. Extracurricular classes are very popular now, and everyone wants to take a bite. In order to have our own characteristics, we want to cooperate with you. Please take about 10 minutes from each class to provide psychological counseling to relieve the children's stress. Business is coming. Your idea is good. We take the initiative to find the children. By the time they go to see a psychologist, the problem is probably already very serious. Trust, 14%. Yes. I think so too. Not only students, but also parents are under great pressure. Moreover, most of the parents of students in our class are from large enterprises or public institutions. If we provide good service, we can also win their reputation. Hearing this, an unformed idea popped up in Xu Leyang's mind. So when do you need me to show up? 1 hour on Saturday afternoon. Don't laugh at me. We dare not spend too much time doing other things. Every training class is racing against time to cram things into the children's heads, and parents only care about the results. Okay. I agree. Zhao Kang stood up, shook hands with Xu Leyang, and then sat down again. Besides that, I want to complain to you. You say. It's my job to listen to customers' complaints. Xu Leyang kept smiling. Trust, 15%. Now our headquarters is preparing to expand the market in the neighboring province and city, and asked me to go there to be the person in charge. Because we are just starting out, the salary I will be offered is higher than in Binhai. Xu Leyang nodded slightly, motioning the other party to continue. I took my whole family there to earn more money and make life easier for our family. But my wife disagreed. She thought we already had some connections here and moving to a new place would mean starting from scratch. My child wouldn't have any friends in the new place, and I'm worried he might have psychological problems. I'm very conflicted now. How old is your child? When he was asked about his own child, Zhao Kang showed a hint of pride on his face. 6th grade. Have you discussed your thoughts with him? What does a kid like him know? Zhao Kang shook his head nonchalantly. Children nowadays mature early and have their own opinions. He may not give you a suitable answer, but in the process of communicating with him, you may get new ideas. After all, he is the son you are proud of. Zhao Kang pondered for a moment. Okay, let's go back and try it tonight. Now come to my place to discuss the details. Trust, 20%. Unlock a piece of personal information and get 5 skill points. The bonus is 200,000, which will be credited to your account along with your salary on the 1st of the next month. Personal information, 1. After graduation, I worked as a math teacher in a public school. Many years later, when I was running for grade director, I ran into someone with connections. I was disheartened and left the school. Skill points, 65. Chapter 15 Awesome Skill Enhancement. Xu Leyang followed Zhao Kang to Lingsai Education, which was located on the same floor. Because the elevator and the consultation room were in opposite directions, this was the first time he saw Lingsai Education's office. As soon as we entered the spacious and bright reception hall, 2 beautiful ladies in professional attire stood up immediately. They said in a sweet voice, "Hello, Mr. Zhao. Teacher Xu, this way please. Let's talk in my office." Zhao Kang stretched out his hand to guide. Xu Leyang looked back as he turned the corner. Black silk stockings, good reviews. When I become famous, I will get one too. No, I will get a row of people standing at the door. Behind the reception hall, there are many rooms arranged as classrooms, all of which are now empty. Further in, there is a row of offices with doorplates reading Teaching Department, Marketing Department, etc. The doorplate of the innermost room reads Manager's Office. As soon as I sat down at the large desk, a receptionist brought me some water. "Mr. Zhao, how many classrooms do you have?" "I've seen quite a few along the way. There are 5 rooms in the junior high school and 4 in the senior high school, all of which are used on weekends. Junior high school students finish school after 8 p.m. now, and senior high school day students finish school even later. It's quite large. Our Lingsai Education is a long-established brand with guaranteed teaching quality. Many of the students here are recommended by their parents." Xu Leyang picked up the water glass and took a sip. "You just said that these students have complicated backgrounds and the teaching pressure is high. Their grades have dropped and their parents must be dissatisfied with you. I'm worried right now. There are a few junior high school students who have been here for almost a semester, and their grades haven't improved, and are actually declining." Zhao Kang took off his glasses, pinched the bridge of his nose, and shook his head. "This is normal. There is no teacher who can teach everything in one go, and there is no student who can learn everything in one go. If tutoring is really a panacea, then not everyone can go to a prestigious university. Some of them are children of big entrepreneurs in Shanghai City. One is the grandson of the secretary of the Discipline Inspection Commission, one is the child of the deputy director of the Provincial Development and Reform Commission, and another is." Zhao Kang didn't say anything else, but pointed upwards with his thumb. Xu Leyang immediately nodded as if he understood. "Now that you are in this position, your grades don't really matter. Their parents don't have any objections at the moment, but I am worried. Is this guy going to run away because he can't handle it?" Zhao Kang took a sip of water and continued. "We have arranged for you to attend from 4 to 5 p.m. every Saturday. Each class will last about 10 minutes. We will inform you after the specific plan is finalized. It's 2,000 per hour. We will give you an extra 1,000 because it's the weekend. Do you think this is okay?" "No problem. Then Mr. Xu, please take care of me." Xu Leyang shook hands with Zhao Kang, chatted for a while, and then said goodbye and left. Back in his office, he sat in his chair and thought about the conversation. If they pay too little, people will think they hired a bad psychologist. If they pay too much, it won't be worth it, since they are tutoring after all. 3,000 is about right. Ding! Congratulations to their host for completing the task, 3 consultants in total. Reward, 1 skill enhancement. Now releasing the novice task 3, 10 consultants in total. Reward, 3 skill enhancement times. Xu Leyang called up his personal panel and the display on it changed. Name, Xu Leyang. System level, primary 1.25 million 100 million. Skills, self-defense, tracking, design, foreign language. Skill points, 65. Number of skill enhancements, 1. Skill shop. Training institution management experience, 20 points. Mathematics tutoring, 20 points. When Xu Leyang shifted his attention to the skills again, he found that some skills had an additional enhanced effect. Foreign language enhancement, master the languages, writing systems, and symbols of all stages of human civilization. That's awesome. Skill enhancement should be the core of this system. Make sure to make good use of it. Math tutoring enhancement, master all subject tutoring skills. Once the other party has heard you explain something, they will never forget it. Skill note, can only be used for course tutoring. Xu Leyang stood up from his chair. Then I can set up my own training institution and make money. Then he calmed down immediately. Hualong State has cracked down very severely on unlicensed operations and the penalties are extremely severe. If you cooperate with the training institution, the news will definitely leak out, and it will give others a handle, and you may also end up in jail. In Shanghai City, it is very easy to punish an ordinary person. Xu Leyang sat down slowly, pushing his feet against the ground, and his body spun along with the chair. He saw a good opportunity to make money and didn't want to miss it. It seems that tutoring is not prohibited here. I have seen many college students holding signs on the road. But I don't have any results yet, so I have to find someone to experiment with first. Xu Leyang pondered for a long time and made up his mind. He seemed to have thought of something and spent the whole afternoon picking things online. Just now in Zhao Kang's office, he experienced other people's office chairs, and then looked at his own, which was really unbearable. There were no comfortable seats for guests to sit in, and there was not even any water to drink. Now that I think about it, it's really a miracle that Chen Yao and Lin Kesin didn't leave immediately after they came in. Fuck. How did I end up choosing a gaming chair? When did I order the limited edition controller? Why are there so many games in my Steam shopping cart? Look at the time, it's almost 5 o'clock. No, I won't go back until I buy the things. Xu Leyang dialed the phone. Grandma Wang, I won't be back for dinner today. Well, I have to work overtime. Okay, call me if you have anything. It was completely dark outside the window, so Xu Leyang turned on the light. Call. After more than 2 hours of difficult decision-making, most of the time was spent playing with the old head ring I had just bought. He spent more than 3,000 yuan to buy a multifunctional human physiological massage chair for himself, more than 600 yuan to buy a high-end chair for guests, and another 500 yuan to buy a box of imported exquisite small bottles of mineral water. After finishing all this, it was almost 8 o'clock and his stomach was growling with hunger. Just as he was about to turn off the lights, the phone rang. Why haven't you left yet? Something delayed me today. Playing games. Where did you install the camera? There was a brief silence on the other end of the line, and then their voice dropped a few notches. Do me a favor. It costs extra money. Come to my office. It was Xu Leyang's first time on the 58th floor, and only the footlights were on in the corridor. He walked to their window, and his vision suddenly widened, with the entire Shanghai city in sight. There is prosperity with bright lights and wine, and there is also darkness where the light cannot reach. He stood in front of the window, looking intently for a moment. Why are you still standing there like an idiot? I won't pay you overtime for this period of time. I smelled a familiar scent of perfume from behind me, and a hand grabbed my arm. Let's go. In the darkness, Xu Leyang was held by Lin Kesin and walked through several lighted offices. Then he entered the innermost office. Chapter 16 Night Shift. Wow, Manager Lin's office is so impressive. Looking at the 2 large offices of his own, Xu Leyang couldn't help but sigh. A high-end desk was in the center of the room. Behind the desk was a large multi-layered cabinet, which contained various small items, books, and some trophies. Next to the cabinet was a row of French windows, and outside was the brightly lit night view of the Binhai. Sit next to me. Lin Kesin pointed to the chair next to her, and Xu Leyang only then noticed her appearance. A lemon green shirt and a black jacket draped over the back of the chair. The perfect chest shape was finally revealed in front of her. She wore a black OL-style skirt and her hair was still tied up, revealing a section of her delicate neck skin. Very. Xu Leyang blurted out. What? I said it would be done in 10 minutes. You wish. There were 2 computers on Lin Kesin's desk, and she gave one of them to Xu Leyang. As soon as she sat down, she was surrounded by the soft feeling of the chair. It's so comfortable. Xu Leyang closed his eyes and enjoyed it for a while. All the content to be done is listed above. There are several transportation plans and report materials. Take a look first. Lin Kesin pulled out the file and knocked on Xu Leyang's head. So many, hundreds of pages. The market competition over there is fierce. If you are a second late, you won't get any. So I have to hurry and hand these over tomorrow. Xu Leyang scrolled the mouse and stared at the screen intently. Pay attention to this Middle East route. In 2 days it will be a local traditional festival, and the whole city will be on holiday for 3 days. This should be taken into consideration. It is best not to bring too many people with you. They have to do this before every departure, which wastes a lot of time. Tell the people on site that this is your first cooperation with this transportation company, and you should understand some local customs in advance. He skimmed through it, mumbling the immediate thoughts that came to his mind to himself. Lin Kesun was watching quietly at the side. Xu Leyang's full concentration made her curl the corners of her mouth and she looked a little dazed. Big liar. What did you say? Seeing Xu Leyang looking at her, Lin Kesun immediately turned her head away. Hurry up and start. I will supervise you today. Don't try to get my salary. Xu Leyang took off his coat and put it on the back of the chair. This was the first time he saw Lin Kesun working. Her slender fingers were clacking on the keyboard, and her mature and cold face was full of seriousness. She took out a book from the back and flipped through it, and then answered the phone, without stopping for a moment. When thinking about something, she would bite her fingers and twitch her high heels on her toes. She occasionally turned around to check on Xu Leyang's progress and discussed any questions with him. Har tilde. Halfway through the work, Xu Leyang stretched and looked at the time. It's almost 12 o'clock. Now that I'm watching you, you don't have time to slack off. I'm that kind of person. I'll order takeout. Do you want to eat something too? Lin Kesun shook her head. Xu Leyang walked to the French window, looked out at the Binhai at night, and relaxed his eyes. Suddenly he realized that he could actually see his office from here. He turned around and glanced at Lin Kesun, who was still typing. Her eyesight can't be that good. Not long after, the takeaway arrived. Xu Leyang ordered a bowl of 200 g of fresh meat wontons. When he opened the lid, the aroma instantly wafted out. Just as I was about to start eating, a crystal clear hand like a work of art reached out from the side and snatched the spoon from my hand. Didn't you just say no? Which ear did you hear me? There was no way. Xu Leyang could only watch Lin Kesun eat one after another. Her hair was now untied. She leaned sideways, holding a spoon in her right hand and resting her left hand on the armrest of Xu Leyang's chair. The soft hair slid down naturally, covering the left side of the face, and a soft spot rested on Xu Leyang's chest. What are you standing there for? Help me pin my hair up. Xu Leyang stretched out his hand to smooth his hair behind Lin Kesun's ear and accidentally touched her smooth earlobe. Suddenly, his whole body trembled for less than a second. Oh. There was no reaction on Lin Kesun's face. She continued eating bite after bite. Oh no, how many did she eat? Did you guys help me count? Lin Kesun picked up the bowl, took a sip of soup, and then handed the spoon to Xu Leyang. The rest is yours. Listen to me and thank you, because there is, hiss, why are you pinching me? Looking at the few wontons left, Xu Leyang sang while taking out toilet paper and wiping the spoon. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his thigh. Seeing Lin Kesun glaring at him, Xu Leyang unfolded the toilet paper in his hand. There's lipstick on the spoon. What's wrong with having lipstick? I still have lipstick on my lips. After Lin Kesun finished speaking, he turned around and went into work mode. How can it be the same? Xu Leyang ate the last 3 wontons and drank up all the soup, then went back to work. The second half of the night seemed to pass very quickly. Every time I glanced at the time, an hour had gone by. At 4 in the morning, he finally finished the work at hand. He glanced at Lin Kesun, whose hands were still busy on the keyboard. Tilde. Xu Leyang let out a sigh of relief, leaned back in the comfortable chair, and prepared to take a rest. But his eyelids gradually became heavy. In the blur, it seemed that something soft touched my hand. Then I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, there seemed to be a faint fragrance lingering around my nose, and Lin Kesun's coat on the back of the chair was draped over me. What time is it? Xu Leyang squinted his eyes and his voice was still sleepy. It's almost 6. Why didn't you call me? It's okay, I've already done it. I've also checked yours, and they are all fine. It really helped me a lot. Xu Leyang, whose eyesight had been restored, looked to the side and saw that Lin Kesun's computer screen had been turned off and she was also leaning back in her chair to rest. You can lie down for a while. Forget it. I'm going to go back and take a shower and catch up on some sleep. Let me take you home. You haven't rested enough. It's not safe to drive. Xu Leyang held down Lin Kesin, who was about to get up, and covered her with clothes. He found that Lin Kesin looked a little more haggard. It's okay. You should take this time to rest. You can still sleep for a few more hours. Okay, then go back and be careful. It's been a pleasure working with you. Lin Kesin gave Xu Leyang a tired smile. Trust, 75%. Can you remove the ligature if it's 80%? It would be pleasing if you could be as gentle to me in the future as you were last night. As soon as he finished speaking, Xu Leyang noticed that Lin Kesin's face was about to change, so he immediately closed the door and said goodbye. In the corridor, in the offices where the lights were on last night, people were still talking. After having breakfast outside, when she returned to her residence, it was almost 7:30 and the landlord had already left. She hadn't seen Xu Leyang's car in the morning, so she sent a text message to inquire about it. Xu Leyang took a shower and then lay down on the bed. He was a little sleepy, but not yet sleepy. He could only scroll through his phone and wait for sleep to come. The phone vibrates. The transfer has been completed. Your 6969 account has received the transfer and the balance is now. Strictly speaking, I worked 7 hours yesterday, which is fine. That's good. Ding ding ding. Penguin chimed. 8:15. Have you arrived home yet? 8:16. Well, you can take a break. And you haven't paid for the wontons yesterday. 8:16. In the end, you ate everything. 8:17. I only ate a few. 8:18. Can I use something else to pay for it? 8:18. Tell me what is more important than money. 8:20. Photo, lace beautiful legs. 8:21. If you post this, I won't be sleepy anymore. 8:22. I promised you to wear it that day. It was my first time trying it, so I took a picture. Do you want to see it again? 8:26. Xu Leyang, hurry up. You retracted a message. 8:26. Xu Leyang GKD. 8:27. Image, a man's coat. Why does this dress look familiar? 8:27. Xu Leyang, this is the clothes I left in your office. 8:28. How much should I charge for storage? 8:30. I don't want the wonton money, okay. On the other side of the screen, the corners of a mature and attractive mouth turned up. Chapter 17. Psychological Counseling. When Xu Leyang woke up, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Although I am now physically strong and invincible in a fight, my energy is still limited in every aspect. I sat on the bed for a while and found an unread message on Penguin. 11:45. Xiaoyang, are you free this weekend? I don't think your offer to treat me to a meal was just a polite remark. Expression, kitten, looking forward to it. You're already 27 and still use so many emojis. 14:23. Sorry, I just saw this now. I worked the night shift yesterday and slept all morning. 14:25. Don't you work during the day? 14:26. The day does not understand the darkness of the night. 14:28. Do you understand now? 14:29. All I know is that I'm going to treat you to dinner at 8 o'clock this Saturday night. 14:31. Not serious at all. Let us make a deal, you treat me this time and I pay. 14:35. Okay. 14:37. Is there anything you want to eat? 14:38. Which restaurant in Shanghai City is the most expensive? 14:40. Baixiang Pavilion. 14:41. Let us go. Expression, wink. 14:41. Okay. 14:42. Boss Chen is very generous. 14:43. Expression, kitten with arms akimbo. 14:45. I'll pick you up at 6:30 p.m. 14:47. Okay, I'll wait for you in the studio. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow. Xu Leyang glanced at the date. Today is Friday. Just after I was shocked, I received a course schedule from Zhaokang of Lingcai Education. It will start at 4 p.m. tomorrow, and I will go to class 3 of the junior high school. Each class will be 10 minutes long, and Zhaokang will accompany me throughout the whole process. Xu Leyang also has his own plan on how to provide psychological counseling to students. In the final analysis, training institutions only care about results. This time they invited me to go, of course, with the idea of relieving students' stress, but more importantly, it was for parents and outsiders to see. So what I have to do is simple and clear: teach students stress relief methods that can both relieve stress and improve their grades. His ultimate goal was to use this opportunity to become familiar to students and parents so that he could implement subsequent plans. Xu Leyang arrived at the parking lot at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. There were fewer cars on the weekend. But next to parking space B325, there was still a red Mercedes-Benz parked, and a familiar figure just got out of the car. Her black hair was scattered on her shoulders. She was wearing the black coat that she had put on the back of the chair yesterday, and the slim-fitting light brown straight-leg casual pants that showed off her legs. Hearing some noise behind her, she turned around and the sunglasses and red lips on her face made her look more mature. Linkason waited quietly there until Xu Leyang came to her side, and then they walked towards the elevator side by side. "Why are you here today?" Lingsai Education, which is on the same floor, invited me to give their students some stress relief classes. "No wonder you're dressed like this." Today, Xu Leyang chose navy blue casual pants with a brown top and a pair of white sneakers, exuding a youthful vibe. "How about it?" "Yes, it suits you very well." "If you say yes, then it's fine." The elevator reached the 20th floor. Seeing Xu Leyang looking embarrassed, Linkason was a little surprised. "Fart if you want to. Can I have a few more photos of you wearing that dress? It would be best if you were wearing black." "Roll." Linkason put her hands on Xu Leyang's chest and pushed him out of the elevator. The next second after the door closed, she laughed unhappily. At 3:50, Xu Leyang arrived at Lingsai Education on time. As soon as he entered the door, two front desk ladies in black silk stockings stood up to greet him. "Good afternoon, Mr. Xu." "Good afternoon, both of you." In the manager's office, Xu Leyang met Zhao Kang, and the two shook hands when they met. "Teacher Xu, it's up to you today." "Mr. Zhao, please stop putting pressure on me." Har, Teacher Xu is too modest. "I knew from talking to you the other day that Teacher Xu is not an ordinary person. I have been in education for so many years, and I am still very good at judging people." Led by Zhao Kang, Xu Leyang entered the classroom of Class 3 of the junior high school from the back door. There were about 20 students, and some math problems were written on the blackboard. A female teacher, wearing a Lingsai Education logo uniform and a little bee on her head, was explaining. Seeing the boss coming in from behind, he immediately said, "Today, we have invited a special teacher to relieve everyone's study pressure. Let's applaud and welcome Teacher Xu." After saying this, he led the applause and then nodded to the back. The students followed suit and clapped, turning around to look. "Wow!" After seeing Xu Leyang's youthful and handsome appearance and model-like figure, they all exclaimed in admiration at the same time. With a smile on his face, Xu Leyang walked along the aisle in the middle of the classroom towards the podium, while extending his hands and high-fiving the students on both sides. Just like when NBA players come on the field. When you walk to the front of the stage, hand the teacher a USB flash drive. "Hello everyone. My name is Xu Leyang, and I'm a psychological counselor. I'm very happy that I can help you relieve your stress from studying today." Another round of applause. "Let me ask you a question first. Do you usually feel this kind of pressure? I didn't do well in the test and I was afraid that my teacher or parents would say something I didn't perform better than other students and I felt uncomfortable, I had too much homework and I felt suffocated. If so, please tell me with your eyes." Seeing the bright and intelligent eyes in the audience, Xu Leyang smiled and continued to ask. "How long can you sit and study continuously?" 2 hours. 4 hours. Long time. The audience rushed to answer. "Okay. Let's look at a research report on the brain." Xu Leyang pressed the remote control in his hand, and two identical black and white scans of the human brain appeared on the large projector in front of him. The only difference was that the one on the right had more filaments of light at the top of the head than the one on the left. There are many foreign languages below the picture, which looks very high-end. This is the research result of brain science experts in America. They selected tens of thousands of middle school students and conducted long-term follow-up experiments. They obtained these two pictures, which are the students' brains after 1 hour of learning. Xu Leyang guided the laser pen, and the audience also looked over. "These reticular structures, which we have learned in biology class, what are they?" "Brain nerves. In this survey, when there is electricity passing through the brain nerves, they will light up. The more they light up, the more active the brain is. At this time, the learning efficiency is also higher. So, which of these two brains do we need the most? Right. Xu Leyang was somewhat surprised by the students' level of cooperation. That's right. The left side is caused by studying for a long time under pressure. The right side is caused by a certain method. Xu Leyang pressed the remote control again, and two more line graphs appeared on the screen. The rest of the text was still in British. Very cool. Based on the results, the experts selected students with similar learning abilities and divided them into two groups. One group kept the left brain in a state, and the other group kept the right brain in a state. They watched the same online course, and the final test scores of the right brain were about 10 points higher than the left brain on average. Wow! That's amazing. The students' interest had been completely aroused by Xu Leyang, and they all opened their mouths wide. Even the teachers in the back row who came to watch the fun were watching with great interest. Want to know how they did it? Think. The sound was so loud that it almost blew off the ceiling. Their method is very simple: just exercise and relax. If you study for 1 hour, you need to rest and move for 5 minutes. This will reduce stress and keep your brain active. This is the key to improving academic performance. Xu Leyang pressed the remote control again, and a video of relaxing exercises appeared on the screen, accompanied by dynamic music. Everyone stand up and follow the video. Xu Leyang clapped his hands. His voice was enhanced by the system and was already very persuasive. Coupled with the students' full interest and the timely participation of the substitute teacher, the classroom was bustling with activity. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhao Kang's office. In addition to him, many Lingxi education employees also came, and everyone's face was filled with excitement. It's a great success, Teacher Xu. Using grades as bait, we can make students realize the importance of relaxation and stress relief. This is what we need at Lingxi education. Zhao Kang shook hands with Xu Leyang solemnly with both hands. Trust, 60%. It's increasing so fast that I'm a little scared. Sister-in-law, are you sure you blocked your favor? Host, rest assured. Unlock 2 pieces of personal information, and you will be rewarded with 10 skill points and a bonus of 400,000. The bonus will be credited to your account along with your salary on the 1st of the next month. Skill points, 75. Personal information. 2. Partnered with a college classmate to open a teaching and tutoring institution, but it was dissolved after 1 year due to differences in concepts. 3. He joined Lingyun Education through a friend's introduction and was responsible for high school mathematics. 3 years later, he secretly exposed the deputy director of the teaching department for accepting bribes and successfully took over the position. Some of the things Teacher Xu said were the first time we heard them. As expected of a psychological counselor, you can understand the other person's interests. Zhao Kang sent Xu Leyang back to the consultation room. Teacher Xu, can we edit this lecture video and post it online? Just give me a soft advertisement in the video description. Chapter 18. I just want to find a father for my child. Xu Leyang tidied up the office, locked the door and left. In the common room opposite the elevator on each floor, 3 students from the cram school whom I had just met were doing their homework while waiting for their parents to pick them up. It was already past 5:30 and the cram school had already closed. They wouldn't open a classroom for just a few students. It's mainly a safety issue. If you leave people in your office area during non-business hours, you will be held responsible if something goes wrong. With his sharp eyes, he saw the scores of the math papers in the hands of several people at a glance. 80, 86, 72. Full score is 120. These scores are not competitive at all no matter where you are. Very good. You will be chosen next week. Xu Leyang started the car and drove towards Chen Yao's studio. Her studio is on an art and cultural street in the south of the city, about 20 minutes drive from Jinhai Building. It was too late last time and I didn't have time to observe it carefully. This street does have a strong artistic atmosphere. The trees and decorations along the street are all carefully designed with unique shapes. Even the manhole covers are sprayed with colorful patterns. Xu Leyang drove slowly, looking for his target in front of a row of single-story buildings with colorful exterior walls. Finally, next to a cake shop, I found an artistic billboard, Li Yao Design Studio. I didn't pay much attention last time. This name seems a bit strange. Xu Leyang parked the car and pushed the door open. Hello. A pretty girl with a bun, fair skin, and a college-age look came up with a sweet smile. She was wearing a white printed long-sleeved shirt and a pair of jeans, looking neat and clean. Wrong way. The other party saw the confusion in Xu Leyang's eyes and instantly thought of something. You are here to see Sister Yao. Please wait a moment. After saying that, he ran towards a room inside. Xu Leyang looked around. The layout of the whole house was a bit like the music restaurant he visited last time. The warm-toned lights made the room even more cozy when the sky outside darkened. In the middle of the room, there is a tea table for receiving guests, on which is placed a set of high-end tea sets. On one wall are hung some design drawings and awards received. On the other side is a row of shelves, on which are placed many ornamental green plants and some small art ornaments. At this moment, Chen Yao was supporting her head with one hand, thinking about a new home design plan in front of the computer, her soft black hair spread out along her arms on the table. Sister Yao, Sister Yao. A handsome guy who never touches me is here to see you. Is he the one you're going to date later? The girl closed the door and ran to Chen Yao excitedly. Chen Yao pinched her face and said with a smile. What are you thinking about at such a young age? I'm so envious of Sister Yao. I also want to find someone younger than me and have a sister-brother relationship. You're talking nonsense. Chen Yao pretended to be angry and pinched the other person's waist, causing her to beg for mercy. It's true. He is much better than those ugly guys you rejected before. He wanted to get close to Sister Yao just because he had some money. Do you know what kind of person he is? Well, you can tell from his eyes that he has something. Let's go out and don't keep them waiting. When Xu Leyang saw Chen Yao, they were both stunned for a moment, because she was wearing a brown ankle-length pleated skirt and a navy blue sweater, which matched her perfectly. Trust, 60%. Wait for me a moment, there's still a little bit left to do. It's okay. I'm early. These two simple sentences made the girl's eyes sparkle. Still looking. Go buy some cakes over there. Chen Yao smiled and drove her away, then pulled Xu Leyang to sit at the table and started to make tea. Have a seat. Are they your men? Her name is Liu Xiaoxiao. She is a senior this year and also studies design. Her family used their connections to find me and she is doing an internship here for a while. Why are you interested in her? Chen Yao tilted her head and raised one corner of her mouth, her beautiful big eyes full of amusement. Not interested. She's not as old as you. Good you. Chen Yao stretched out her hand to pinch her, but suddenly withdrew her hand like a frightened bird. The fleeting shy expression of the young mature woman was deeply imprinted in Xu Leyang's heart. Am I here at the wrong time? Liu Xiaoxiao pushed the door open and walked in with the cake she had just bought. No, you're just in time. 2 pieces of cake put together to form a heart shape were placed on the table. Chen Yao blushed and looked at Liu Xiaoxiao, who was hiding in the distance and observing secretly. What did you buy? Just tell me if this is a cake. Liu Xiaoxiao blinked and smiled, ran into the design room and locked the door from the inside. Chen Yao sighed softly and poured Xu Leyang a cup of freshly brewed tea. This kid is used to being crazy with me. Don't mind it. It's okay. I ate both of them. You wish. Chen Yao quickly took a piece of cake and placed it in front of herself. In the autumn in Shanghai, it gets dark earlier. At 7 p.m., it is almost completely dark. The temperature is low in the autumn night, so Chen Yao puts on a black coat. The car started slowly and drove through the city where the lights were just coming on. I have a question for you. Xu Leyang looked at Chen Yao and smiled maliciously. Don't ask. Chen Yao turned her face away. After a while, she took the initiative to speak. I named the studio this because I wanted to get rid of the control of my family and simply enjoy my work. Don't let your imagination run wild. I didn't even know you at that time. I want to ask how to get to Baixiang Pavilion. The air suddenly became quiet. His tilde, don't pinch me. Driving is dangerous. Why are you acting like you're 18? Can you be more mature like me? JPG. Brothers, don't mess with girls when you're driving. Following Chen Yao's navigation, we drove south for almost an hour. Why is it so far from the city center? You'll see it soon. As soon as their voice fell, the foot of the mountain not far away was lit up with brilliant lights, outlining a magnificent and antique building. Is this a palace? Xu Leyang couldn't help but open his mouth wide. Impressive, isn't he it? It makes me wonder if this is a place to eat. There shouldn't be other places. Sensing that the atmosphere on the right was not right, Xu Leyang immediately changed the subject. Who is the boss? You wouldn't dare to do this without a certain background. She's a woman like me, and a single mother. There was a hint of admiration in Chen Yao's tone. What? Don't want to work hard anymore. I have a bad stomach. I also feel sorry for the child and want to find a father for her. His tilde. Why are you pinching me again? Xu Leyang looked to the right and was met with Chen Yao's rolling eyes. It's pretty nice, so I won't bother with you. Chapter 19 Su Qingying. As Xu Leyang and his companion walked into the quaint gate of Baixiang Pavilion, a young and beautiful waitress, wearing a dark and well-fitting work suit, came up from a row of welcoming guests to greet them. Please come in, do you have a reservation? No black silk, bad review. Chen Yao presented a reservation code on her phone, and the waiter scanned it with a handheld device. Bite. Damn, how come her voice is exactly like my sister-in-law's? It scared me. Good evening, Ms. Chen. Please come this way. The waitress gracefully extended her hand to guide us, and it was obvious that she had been trained and had rich experience. The wide hall was filled with large and small square and round tables, which were almost full. The diners seemed to be family and friends having a meal together, their faces were rosy, and they were talking and laughing. Business is so good. Well, not just on weekends, but almost every day. Xu Leyang and the others followed the guide, turned a few corners, went up one floor, and came to a dimly lit, quiet and long ancient corridor. On one side was a wall, and on the other side they could see the outdoor night view. There is a pavilion built outside the corridor at intervals, surrounded by screens, so that customers can enjoy the beautiful scenery and delicious food while having absolute privacy. As soon as Xu Leyang sat down, he felt the warmth coming from somewhere. In the semi-open outdoors in late autumn, he did not feel cold at all. Awesome. You order, I'll eat anything. Chen Yao handed over a thick menu from the opposite side. It's time again for one of the parts that Xu Leyang hates, ordering food. Looking at the densely packed names of dishes, some long and some short, I feel like I have difficulty making decisions. Sir, if you have any dietary restrictions, there is a set meal for two in the back that you can take a look at. The waiter gave timely suggestions. Xu Leyang looked up at Chen Yao, who nodded. This couple's package is very popular here. 1066. They could have just gone and robbed us, but they chose to cook us a meal. Then let's have this set meal. Xu Leyang tapped the menu with his finger and handed it to the waiter. Okay sir, I'll prepare a couple's meal for you right away. As soon as the waiter left, he was kicked in the calf. What are you talking about? There was some anger and some shyness in his words. It's not that couples can't afford it, but the couple's meal is more cost-effective. It saves you money. They know young couples are proud of their reputation, so they try their best to get them. Seeing that the other party seemed to be still a little angry, Xu Leyang continued. You are really amazing to be able to book such a seat. The environment is really nice. Chen Yao took out a small golden card from her handbag. I helped the boss design some private rooms and courtyards before. She gave me a VIP card. Only the gold one can reserve specific seats and get discounts. Color by spending power? I don't know either. I usually only come here to eat with a few colleagues. The prices in different parts of Baixiang Pavilion are different. The ones in the hall are more affordable. In addition to ours, there are also higher standard rooms. Which big family does this boss belong to? Chen Yao's face has now regained its calmness, with a hint of admiration. No. She can be said to have started from scratch. She relied on her own strength to climb up to where she is today. She is someone I admire very much. And she is still very young. I feel really embarrassed when my sister says that. Their voice comes before the person arrives. The words with a hint of charm reached Xu Leyang's ears. Afterwards, a beautiful woman with a plump figure walked gracefully into the pavilion where Xu Leyang and the other man were. Her hair was combed to one side and rested on her shoulder. A black headband was tied at the end of her hair, making it a dangerous hairstyle. On her small and delicate face, her facial features are perfectly distributed. With a little mole at the corner of her eye, she exudes the temperament of a young woman. The black high-end gauze skirt highlights her perfect figure. She wears a pair of elegant black high heels on her feet, and a black coat is draped over her shoulders, covering her slender waist from behind. Behind her, on the left stood two tall bodyguards in black, their eyes full of murderous intent, and on the right stood a male and female subordinate dressed as managers. Boss Xu. Why are you here? I've told you so many times, just call me sister in private. I saw that you ordered a couple's meal on your card, and I was afraid that some ill-intentioned guy would kidnap my beautiful and stubborn sister, so I came to take a look. The guests were very satisfied with the rooms you designed for me last time. Chen Yao walked up to Boss Xu and took her hands. I am far worse than Sister Xu. Then he turned and looked at Xu Leyang. Xiao Yang, she is the owner of this Baixiang Pavilion, Xu Qingying. Hello, Boss Xu. Xu Leyang stood up to greet her. The scrutinizing look in her charming eyes made him feel uncomfortable. Just now my sister said that she admires me very much. I wonder what you think of me, little brother. Xu Qingying took a few steps forward with a smile on her face, but Xu Leyang didn't feel any warmth at all. You're just trying to show off your power, right? How can I see that when we just met? Of course I saw it with my eyes. Xu Leyang answered immediately. As soon as he finished speaking, the two bodyguards behind Xu Qingying locked their sharp eyes on Xu Leyang, and the two managers trembled in fear. Chen Yao immediately showed a panic expression on her face. She hurried to Xu Leyang, grabbed his arm with both hands, and said to Xu Qingying, Sister Xu, don't pay attention to him. I was just having a tantrum with him. Xu Qingying curled the corners of her mouth and crossed her arms across her chest, which made Xu Leyang feel even more out of control. It's my fault. I didn't ask the question clearly. Let me ask it again. What do you think of me, little brother? Boss Xu is very capable. You can hear us even when we are talking so quietly. I am afraid I will never be able to learn this skill in my lifetime. Xu Leyang looked back at Xu Qingying with envy on his face. Watch your mouth. A bodyguard just took a step forward when Xu Qingying raised her hand to stop him. Xu Leyang changed his posture the moment he moved. Now I can sense how dangerous this bodyguard is. The aura he just emitted is definitely more than just someone who has experienced the test of life and death. Xu Leyang now faced Xu Qingying sideways, with his right hand around Chen Yao's slender waist, holding her in his arms. Her soft body was trembling slightly. You all go down. I want to talk to my sister and this little brother alone. After hearing the order, the four bowed and left. Before leaving, the female manager placed a bottle of fancy and high-end foreign wine on the table. Chapter 20. This kid is not simple. The three of them sat back in their seats. Xu Qingying pulled Chen Yao to sit opposite Xu Leyang. Come on. I'll give you a toast to make up for my rude behavior just now. My subordinates were too ignorant. Just drink the tea, sister, you still have to drive later. This woman, she pushed the blame onto her subordinates and mocked me at the same time. Xu Qingying raised the goblet filled with high-end foreign liquor and looked at Chen Yao and Xu Leyang with a calm smile. It's all misunderstandings, just clear them up. We'll be fine. Chen Yao raised her teacup. Only Xu Leyang was left sitting quietly. He ignored Chen Yao, who kept winking at him, and said to Xu Qingying, Boss Xu, I don't dare drink this wine. Oh? Are you afraid that I'll poison the wine? Xu Qingying's eyes were sharp, looking directly at Xu Leyang. Xu Leyang pointed his thumb towards the distant mountain. On the map in his mind, there was a red dot in the direction of the mountain. R. Chen Yao screamed. Xu Qingying's face darkened, and he picked up the communicator in his hand and yelled angrily. Is this a show for me? Then the red dot disappeared. Xu Leyang picked up the wine glass and the three of them drank it all in one gulp. Little brother, I'll toast to you alone. I was the one who mismanaged the situation just now, and I apologize to you again. Xu Qingying stood up to pour wine for Xu Leyang. When she bent down, a bright white color could be seen. Then she lowered the glass towards Xu Leyang. You don't have to give face to a woman, but you must give face to Yukiko. Xu Leyang also stood up, lowered the rim of the cup a little lower, and then clinked glasses with Xu Qingying. A gleam of light flashed in Xu Qingying's eyes. It is a great honor for me to meet Boss Xu in person. Little brother, you are so good at talking. No wonder my sister likes you. I didn't. Chen Yao blushed and wanted to say something, but Xu Qingying pinched her nose. Then she reached across her chest, took out a gold card like Chen Yao's, and handed it to Xu Leyang. Where did she get it from? Then please accept this, little brother. It's a small token of my appreciation. Xu Leyang took the gold card, which still had some warmth and fragrance. An hour later, Xu Leyang and Chen Yao left Baishan Pavilion and walked side by side on their way to the parking lot. Xiaoyang, I'm so sorry for inviting you to dinner today and something like this happened. The evening breeze ruffled Chen Yao's hair, and the way she stretched out her hands to tidy it up attracted the attention of people around her. This is the charm of light maturity. You don't blame me for talking back to Boss Su. She was the one who tested you first, but don't take it to heart. I got to know Boss Su after I accepted the design commission for Baxian Glue. After communicating with her, I found that she is really a good person. You already have this kind of relationship with her, so why take advantage of her? Having said this, Xu Leyang stopped talking. What follows is other people's privacy, and he has no right to touch it. I don't want other people to interfere in my affairs. Actually, she was right in saying one thing. Which sentence? Chen Yao opened her eyes wide and looked at Xu Leyang. You are a stubborn person. You're trying to piss me off, right? I was thinking of treating you to a meal before you leave. Xu Leyang was pinched on the arm again. Where are you going? I'll be attending several exhibitions in other provinces for about a month. I'll leave tomorrow. I'll give you a chance to catch some wind when you come back. Okay. But before you leave, we have a score to settle. It won't be good if we delay for too long. Chen Yao stopped and looked at Xu Leyang in confusion. What bill? Didn't we agree that I'll pay today? Xu Leyang shook his head, leaned closer to Chen Yao, and smiled maliciously. How many times have you pinched me since we left home? At least 10 times. As the saying goes, it's rude not to reciprocate. Then You wish. Chen Yao screamed, panicking and a little shy, and pushed Xu Leyang away and ran forward. Trust, 70%. On the top floor of Baishan Pavilion, in a luxurious office, someone was standing at the window watching the scene below. Boss, that guy is definitely not an ordinary person. He had already prepared his position before I made a move and blocked my possible attack routes. His strength is not inferior to mine. The bodyguard just now was lowering his head and reporting to Su Qingyin respectfully. Su Qingyin leaned forward with her hands on the windowsill, two hanging down and two raised, revealing the graceful body curves of a young woman. After hearing her men's speeches, she took one last look in the direction of the parking lot and turned around. Are you sure you read it right? Zhang Long, you've been with me the longest, and you're from the Blackthorn Security Company. There aren't many people in Binhai, or even the whole country, who can rival you. Yes. I had my doubts at the time, so I sent someone to the mountain to test him. That is a keen sense of smell that only people like me who have crawled out of a pile of dead bodies can have. It is very unusual for such a young man to have such a keen sense of smell. Go check his background. I don't want my good sister to be deceived by a bad person. I don't want her to end up like me. By the end of her speech, Su Qingyin's voice had become inaudible, and she just looked up at the moon in the sky, half of which was hidden in the clouds. Xu Leyang called a designated driver. After taking a shower and lying on the bed, it was almost 11 o'clock. What just happened touched him deeply. Last time it was Huang Mao, this time it was Boss Su, and I don't know who will be next time. If a person has no ability and can't speak firmly, he will be manipulated by others. He rested his head on his hands and looked at the skill list. Skills, self-defense skills, tracking skills, design, foreign languages, working experience in a foreign trade company. Skill shop. Training institution management experience, 20 points. Mathematics tutoring, 30 points. Let's start our first side project next Saturday. Ding ding ding. The sound of the penguin message interrupted his thoughts. 22:51 Xiaoyang, are you home yet? 22:52 Well, I have taken a shower and am lying down. 22:55 How does today's food taste? 22:57 Apart from the exaggerated plates and the ornate decorations that serve no purpose, it's not bad. Why didn't you choose by Xiongji when you invited me to dinner for the first time? 23:01 Just wanted to see if you would comment on my life. 23:03 What would happen if I said it? 23:06 From now on, we will only maintain a working relationship. This woman is quite troublesome. 23:08 Today too. 23:10 I'm not in such trouble. Go to bed early. You protected me again today. Thank you. 2312 Good night. 2312 Image, Good night, cat. Chapter 21 Lincoln fainted. On Monday, Xu Leyang finally woke up naturally at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a good sign. Something good might happen today. As soon as I arrived at the office, the advanced ergonomic massage chair I ordered online was delivered to my door. Xu Leyang closed his eyes and sat in the soft, comfortable, and fully wrapped black massage chair. The massage effect on his waist and cervical spine made him shout out in comfort. Oh yeah! After massaging for half an hour, I opened Linksai Education's official DY video account to see the results of their filming last Saturday. This is what he cares about most. It is the first small advertisement of his studio. Holy crap! 350,000 views. Xu Leyang was shocked by the number of views at first sight. When I clicked on the video again, I saw myself lecturing from the perspective of the back of the classroom. At the end of the video, there is a scene where Xu Leyang dances with his students. Seeing this, he immediately pressed the pause button. It's so damn shameful. Why didn't I realize it at the time? Look at the comments section. Linksai Education is worthy of being the leader in teaching aids, and its considerations are really comprehensive. This psychologist looks a bit like an internet celebrity. You are an internet celebrity. Your whole family is an internet celebrity. Excuse me, which class is this teacher in? Are there any arrangements for the high school department? Xu Leyang quickly flipped through a few pages of comments, and found that they were almost unanimous in their praise. Yes, yes. Now at least I have some fame among the students' parents. He stretched out his body with satisfaction. Ding ding ding. Lincoln sent a message on Penguin. 950 Not bad, I learned a lot. You have a wide range of knowledge. 952 Stop watching. I'm so embarrassed. 953 I like it very much. The other party withdrew a message. 958 What did you withdraw? I just went to the bathroom. 10 o'clock Never mind if you didn't see it. 10:02 Don't keep us on suspense. 10:03 Do you want to come to my office and show me the relaxation exercise? Screenshot, Xu Leyang dancing. 10:05 Turn it off. 10:07 Are there still classes this weekend? 10:09 On. 10:11 Let us go eat together after this. 10:13 Are you sure we can have dinner together this time? 10:14 Hum. 10:14 I said yes. Hey, woman. My hands just don't work, that doesn't mean I'm afraid of you. On the top floor of Baixiang Pavilion, in an office with luxurious interior. Su Qingying was sitting at her desk, staring at an email on the computer screen, her brows furrowed, and there was even a hint of murderous intent in her charming eyes. Boom boom boom. There was a knock on the door. Enter. The bodyguard Zhang Long walked up to the desk with his huge body and bowed his head respectfully. Boss. We have found out the identity of that guy. He is a psychological counselor and works in Jinhai building. Su Qingying turned off the computer, leaned back against the wide chair, stared at the ceiling, thinking about something. Psychologist. Yes. There is no other information available. Could he be? Su Qingying raised her hand to stop Zhang Long from continuing. You go first, I'll take care of his business. The door closed, and Su Qingying let out a long breath. Then she picked up the photo frame next to the computer and stroked the face of a cute girl on it. A smile finally appeared on her face, a smile that she would never show in front of others and that belonged only to her beloved. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when Xu Leyang was about to get off work, he received a call. Brother Yang, we are planning to start a group tonight and we are in need of a healer. If it is convenient, please come and help us. This is a call from the president of the Gaming Guild. He is a middle-aged man, his wife is a full-time housewife taking care of the kids. Every night for entertainment, he plays dungeons. Xu Leyang is now in a semi-AFK state. All his equipment was acquired by following the guild. Although he was younger than the guild leader, he had top-notch equipment and was a skilled and conscious healer, making him the big daddy of every guild. Okay. I'll go in. Xu Leyang called the landlord and began to prepare for the evening activities. After countless divine interventions, most of the team members finally achieved the achievement. We thought it would end at 11 o'clock at most, but we were wiped out many times and played until 1 o'clock in the morning. The only regret is that it is so dark that there must be someone who gets on the horse without shouting. Brother Yarn, thank you for your hard work. This time, thanks to Brother Yarn, the last extreme single milk was so cool. It's okay, it's okay. I'll be more skilled next time. I said goodbye to everyone in YY, turned off the computer, and went home. Alas, I haven't played the game for a while. Several old tanks have AFK, several main DPS have left, and there are no familiar people in the guild anymore. When I arrived at the parking lot, I saw the red Mercedes-Benz from afar. She hasn't left yet. When I got closer, I found a person lying next to his car. Shanghai First People's Hospital, outside the infusion room. A doctor was talking to Xu Leyang. Are you a family member? Yes. Fuck, how could you just say that so easily? The patient is very weak now, due to continuous fatigue and malnutrition. If we don't take care of her, her life will be in danger. We can take her away after she finishes the infusion. She must pay attention to nutrition and rest. Okay. Thank you for your help. The doctor walked away after he finished speaking. Xu Leyang was still breathing slightly. After he carried Lin Kesin into the car, he went straight to the hospital and ran around to handle some procedures. Now he can finally breathe a sigh of relief. What are you standing outside for? Come in. Lin Kesin's weak voice was heard from the room. Xu Leyang walked into the infusion room, where there were several empty beds and only Lin Kesin was there. Her face was pale, her lips were colorless, and a few strands of hair hung in front of her eyes, making her look even weaker. There was an phor hanging on one hand, and she was covered with a hospital blanket. Why did you answer the doctor like that? Lin Kesin didn't turn around, just stared at the ceiling. I had been carrying you for a long time and hadn't recovered yet, so I just said it casually. If I make you angry, I'm not angry. You saved me again. The two remained silent until Lin Kesin finished the infusion. On their way to send her back to the company, Xu Leyang met Bin Hai at 3 in the morning. Jinhai building parking lot, parking space B325, blue don't touch me, parked there quietly. Back row. Lin Kesin rested her head on Xu Leyang's shoulder and held his arms in her arms. In the darkness, the only sound that could be heard was her increasingly heavy breathing, as if she was making some kind of decision. My old. He was the deputy director of the cardiovascular department. Not long after he married me, he had an affair with the vice president of their hospital, a woman in her 50s. Such a strong material right at the beginning. How can I go down when I am over 50? Lin Kesin spoke weakly and tightened her arms around Xu Leyang. I can find a lawyer, but my father is in poor health now. He has multiple cardiovascular diseases, plus congenital heart disease. In Binhai, only he and a few other doctors have experience in complex surgeries. They are all classmates. I am afraid. Lin Kesin didn't say anything else, instead she sobbed softly. When I first came to you, I hadn't been able to sleep at night for a month. In addition, our company had opened up several new markets, and I encountered major mistakes at work. All these things added up, and I even wanted to go. Xu Leyang felt that Lin Kesin's fingers were about to pinch his flesh. You helped me share some of the work, so I had some time to rest. Every time I chat with you, I feel relaxed. I was planning to tell you this on Saturday night, but I didn't expect that I couldn't hold on today. Lin Kesin took a deep breath and increased the strength in her hands. I am like this, you are my client now. Xu Leyang reached out and rubbed Lin Kesin's head, interrupting him with clear and reassuring words. My aim is to serve customers wholeheartedly, as long as you're willing to pay, right? Lin Kesin laughed unhappily and pinched Xu Leyang on the thigh. Can I try a different payment method this time? Just as Xu Leyang was about to speak, he was blocked by two sweet and soft things. Warmth flows in the darkness. There was also a slight sucking sound. Trust, 80%. Unlock a piece of personal information and get 5 skill points and a bonus of 200,000. The money will be credited to your account along with your salary on the 1st of next month. Chapter 22 Skill Enhancement. Personal Information. 4. In front of the person she likes, she will sometimes be like a docile rabbit. A real man should not be under someone else for long. She is not a real man, so prefers to be in a dark environment. Cosplay not awakened. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Lin Kesin gradually woke up, wearing Xu Leyang's coat. The familiar smell came into my nose again as I woke up. Woke up. A greeting came from overhead. Let's have dinner together next Saturday. Remember to make time. Lincoln slowly got up. She had only rested for a short time yesterday, but this was the most peaceful sleep she had had recently. Go eat something. You must not miss 3 meals a day. The doctor specifically told you so yesterday. Lincoln quickly combed her hair in front of the makeup mirror and helped Xu Leyang straighten his collar. The two got out of the car and walked out of the basement. They came to a restaurant in an alley 2 streets away from Jinhai building, which was also the place where Xu Leyang had breakfast every day. I can't remember the last time I had a proper breakfast. What do you usually eat in the morning? I don't know, a piece of bread. Xu Leyang ordered 1 or 2 fried dumplings and a bowl of small noodles with red oil. After the dishes came up, Lincoln tasted a little bit of everything. What does it mean to taste a little bit of everything? You hate it. Lincoln glared at him immediately. How dare I? Xu Leyang looked at the fried dumpling with a corner bitten off with disdain, and ate it in one bite. Hissed Tilder. There was a sharp pain in my foot. After dinner, the two walked towards the Jinhai building in the morning sun. Remember to give me the clothes later. What clothes? It was left in your office that day. Don't you want it? My sister said. It's confiscated. Now I'm using it to cover my legs, it's quite comfortable. As they were talking, the two of them had already entered the elevator. Saturday came quickly. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in Zhao Kang's office. Teacher Xu, thank you for your hard work this time. Many parents said that our class was good and the students also enjoyed communicating with you. That's what this job is all about, and that's what keeps me going. Teacher Xu is highly conscious. Trust, 70%. Is it so easy to increase a man's trustworthiness? When Xu Leyang left his office at around 5:30, he saw the 3 students again in the lounge, doing their homework while waiting for their parents to pick them up. Then let's get started. He looked at his personal panel. Name, Xu Leyang. System level, primary 1.2 for million 100 million. Skills, self-defense, tracking, design, foreign languages, experience working in a foreign trade company. Skill points, 80. Number of skill enhancements, 1. Skill shop. Training institution management experience, 20 points. Mathematics tutoring, 20 points strengthening, master tutoring in all subjects. Once the other party has heard you talk about it once, they will never forget it. Ding! The host has a strong desire to earn money to upgrade the system. Now a side quest is issued. Use skills to strengthen, open a side job and get rewards. Reward, perfect physique. Good. First learn math tutoring, then strengthen it. After 2.5 seconds of slight dizziness, the personal panel changed. Skills, self-defense, tracking, design, foreign languages, work experience in a trading company, course tutoring enhanced. Skill points, 60. Number of skill enhancements, 0. 3 students, why haven't you left yet? Xu Leyang walked towards the 3 students, 2 boys and 1 girl, with a smile. Hello, Teacher Xu. Our family will pick us up at 6:30. When the 3 saw Xu Leyang, they immediately stood up and greeted him. With his sharp eyes, he saw the names of several people on their papers. The 2 boys are named Wang Zixuan and Wang Zixuan. The girl's name is Wang Zixuan. There was a dull look in the eyes of the 3. Hurry up and sit down. Hurry up and sit down. I'm doing math problems. Xu Leyang squatted down opposite the 3 people. Yes. I can understand everything the teacher says in class, but I can't remember anything after class, and I can't do the questions myself. The legendary saying that you can learn it once you hear it, but you can't do it once you do it. Wang Zixuan said, he is the tallest of the 3. The unit test is next week, and we want to make the most of it. How are your math grades in class? Xu Leyang's fatal question made the scene quiet for a moment. But the smile on his face and the trust he had accumulated during the class made Wang Zixuan tell the truth. There are 35 people in our class. I can only get around 80 points in math. Me too. Me too. Can you lend me the test paper? Xu Leyang took Wang Zixuan's test paper with 81 points. The general watered his horse. Junior high school math is totally different now than it was back then. He complained in his heart, but said, "Give me a pen." In fact, this kind of question is inseparable from several basic principles. Between 2 points, the shortest is the bell. No, the shortest is the line segment, and the sum of the two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side. For example, this question. Half an hour later. Teacher Xu, you are amazing. I didn't expect you to teach math so well. Everything you just said is printed in my mind like a printer. I had a kind of epiphany that I could do it myself. The three Wangzixuan had a gleam of wisdom in their eyes, and said to Xu Leyang together, "Teacher Xu, can you give us a few more questions?" At 6:30, the three of them packed up and went downstairs. For math, remembering and understanding are somewhat different. But after all, it's a unit test, and the test scope is fixed. I read them more than 200 questions, and quantitative changes lead to qualitative changes. Plus, they remember what they have heard, so it should be no problem to improve their scores by 5 or 6 points. Chapter 23. Xu Qingying comes for consultation. Xu Leyang arrived at the underground parking lot before 6 o'clock on Monday morning. As soon as he parked his car, he saw the person who asked him to get up early. "Why did you think of inviting me to have breakfast together today? There's only one meeting in the morning, and then we start getting busy in the afternoon." Lin Kesin wore a light blue knitted sweater with a white base shirt underneath, black cropped trousers and elegant business leather shoes. Even without black stockings, you can still show a chic and mature OL style. Hartilder. Walking out of the basement, Xu Leyang yawned loudly. "Didn't sleep well. Don't you see that the sky is still dark? Wait." Just as he was about to take a step, Lin Kesin pulled him back to where he was. She stretched her hand to Xu Leyang's neck and skillfully adjusted his collar. Xu Leyang also placed his hands on Lin Kesin's soft waist, quietly enjoying the fragrance of her hair under his nose. "Don't you usually look in the mirror when you go out?" "I haven't woken up yet. Is it my fault?" There were already people hurrying past on the street. The two walked side by side, tacitly not mentioning the kiss in the car yesterday. It seemed that it was just a dream, and it seemed that they were both looking forward to the arrival of this Saturday. Or in a restaurant 2 streets away. Xu Leyang ordered a bowl of noodles with soybean paste, a basket of beef buns, and a bowl of eggnog. "Eat the buns first." Lin Kesin took the noodles with soybean paste and eggnog, tied her hair up, and started eating. "This meat sauce is pretty good. It doesn't feel greasy when eaten with vegetables. Everything in other people's bowls tastes good, right? It would be a waste to order another bowl." As soon as Lin Kesin finished speaking, she pushed the noodles she had taken a few bites of over to him, and then took a sip of eggnog. "How much have you eaten? Have another bun." Lin Kesin shook her head. "You haven't learned your lesson yet, have you? This bun isn't that big, I can eat one in one bite." Xu Leyang picked up a bun and handed it over. Lin Kesin pouted, took the bun and started eating. A mature woman pretending to be cute. This is so destructive. The two chatted casually. After Xu Leyang finished the last bite of noodles with soybean paste, he felt dry in the mouth. When he was about to take a sip of eggnog, he found that Lin Kesin had finished it. At this time, she handed it over and ate half of the bun. "I really can't eat any more. Here you go." At 7 o'clock in the morning, the sky was already slightly bright. Lin Kesin lay in Xu Leyang's massage chair with her eyes closed. "How's your sleep lately?" "It's a little better, but this matter cannot be resolved in a short time. You said it yourself, I am your client, you will not abandon me." I don't know when it started, but she gradually became dependent on Xu Leyang. At 8:30, Lin Kesin got up and straightened her clothes in front of the mirror. "When I was about to leave, I found some mineral water on the table. Boss Xu has made a lot of money. He has started drinking water that costs 70 yuan a bottle." Lin Kesin picked up a bottle, shook it at him, and left the office. Ding dong. At 9 o'clock, the doorbell rang. "Come in." The visitor was unexpected, but also reasonable. It was Xu Qingying. She wore a prouder double-breasted dark blue coat today, which covered her plump figure, and her hair was delicately tied up, showing her noble temperament. The most attractive thing on her face was the black mole at the corner of her eye. "Boss Xu's presence here really brings glory to my humble place. Forget the polite words. What is your relationship with Chen Yao?" Xu Qingying sat gracefully on the chair, staring at Xu Leyang with seductive eyes, her icy face expressionless. She asked my client. What are your feelings towards her? Xu Leyang smiled slightly and adjusted his sitting posture, resting his elbows on the armrests of the chair and crossing his fingers in front of his stomach. Boss Xu, I'm afraid you've made a mistake. This is a consultation room, not an interrogation room. I've already answered a question out of courtesy. Someone of your status, you wouldn't understand, right? Good. Su Qingying also adjusted her sitting posture, leaning her upper body back and leaning against the back of the chair. Then I will chat with you as a consultant to relieve your psychological pressure. I am now your guest, right? As soon as Su Qingying finished speaking, a status bar appeared beside her. Name, Su Qingying. Age, 35. Height, 164. Occupation, large restaurant owner. Trust, 0%. Personal information. 0. He runs the largest restaurant in Shanghai City. He is good at identifying people, values personal strength, and is very resourceful. He dropped out of high school due to poor family conditions and started his own business. His first pot of gold was selling fried tofu at a stall, which no one knew about. He saved money to buy a small shop and started his entrepreneurial journey. The pressure has increased dramatically in recent times, and props are used to relieve stress. 1. Unlocked when the trust reaches 20%. 2. Unlocked when the trust reaches 40%. 3. Unlocked when the trust reaches 60%. 4. Unlocked when the trust level reaches 80%. Hidden. Trust 100% unlocked. Xu Leyang looked at the skill store again. Skill shop. Training institution management skills, 20 points. Large scale catering management skills, 30 points. Cooking, 20 points. 35? I can't really tell. There's nothing on her finger. Divorced. Dead? Still in the process of decompression. Since Boss Xu is a guest, I will do my best to serve you. Now, can we talk? Certainly. Sister Chen Yao is extremely smart and talented. I fell in love with her at first sight. So I will never let her get hurt. What would happen if she got hurt? I will make the other party pay the price. Faced with Su Qingying's powerful aura, Xu Leyang just smiled slightly. With just the two standing outside the door and the one in the car downstairs, I'm afraid you can't do it. A hint of surprise flashed across Su Qingying's face, and there was a hint of different emotions in her eyes when she looked at Xu Leyang. You doubt me? Boss Xu has seen a lot of things. He knows whether he can do it or not. Su Qingying narrowed her eyes and looked at Xu Leyang. A terrible atmosphere was brewing between the two. Boss Xu, let's not waste time on this. Your time is precious, so let's get down to business. What do you want to know when you come to my house in person? Chapter 24 Su Qingying's Purpose. How do you know I have something else to ask you? You went to so much trouble to find out my location, it can't be just to talk about Chen Yao. You're unlike any other 20-something I've ever met. Where did you go to college? Su Qingying looked directly into Xu Leyang's eyes, and there was a caution in her eyes that was not there before. Boss Xu, I just said, let's not waste each other's time. Forget about this kind of indirect questioning. Who are you? It seems that Boss Xu's ability is not enough. If you can't dig it out secretly, will you come to me head on? The smile on Xu Leyang's face deepened. Is this question difficult to answer? Is this answer so hard to get? If you ask the people outside to come in, I will confess everything. This is a good opportunity for me to see Boss Xu's methods. Xu Leyang did not avoid the gaze and looked into Su Qingying's eyes. Boss. Su Qingying had just opened her mouth when the two black-clad bodyguards from that night broke in. There was a hint of panic in their voices. Beautiful. It would have been better if you did this earlier. You wasted so much of my time. Xu Leyang remained seated, smiling and clapping. Get out of here. Su Qingying suddenly stood up and shouted, her thin eyebrows raised, and anger burning in her charming eyes. Wow, that's scary. The two bodyguards seemed to be still a little hesitant and stood there without moving. Get out of here. Yes. As soon as the door closed, Su Qingying's face returned to normal. This is a master. I apologize for my poor discipline. I will make amends. Su Qingying let out a long sigh and shook her head gently. Why does this scene seem so familiar? Apologize when something goes wrong, and pretend nothing happened after a glass of wine. It seems that we can't continue the conversation today. Let's find a time next time. Su Qingying turned and left, but stopped when she was a few steps away from the door. What was your favorite dish that night? She turned her back to Xu Leyang and asked a question that had nothing to do with the situation on the scene. Tofu. Su Qingying's shoulders trembled slightly and she turned around quickly. Why? Depending on the method and craftsmanship, it can be served on the tables of ordinary people or in elegant restaurants. The tofu on that day contained all kinds of human life. Su Qingying didn't say anything, but her breathing became faster and her chest rose and fell slightly. Then she handed Xu Leyang a folded white paper. This is my personal phone number. You can contact me if you encounter any trouble in the future. Su Qingying's phone number is 135x 6789. The handsome guy can see it. Trust, 10%. Any trouble? So confident. Su Qingying's departure left Xu Leyang with questions. Why did she go to so much trouble to investigate me? I didn't threaten her business or her life. Could someone? Never mind. This has nothing to do with me. At this time, a text message reminder came from the mobile phone on the table. Your account 6969 received the transfer, the balance. P.S. Consulting fee. Puff. The mineral water I just took a sip of sprayed out. I thought she would just give a few tens of thousands, she really has plenty of money. Ding. The current largest single consulting fee is detected to be 1 million, triggering the encouragement award. Choose one of the two rewards. If you don't make a choice within 3 seconds, it will be considered as giving up. 1. Add a 0 after the current deposit. 2. Skill enhancement once. I choose 2. At the same time, a Rolls-Royce Phantom was leaving the underground garage of Jinhai building. Zhonglong, this is what I told you. You are not allowed to enter the house without my permission. Su Qingying spoke calmly, as if she was talking about something that had nothing to do with her. But Zhonglong could tell that his boss was angry. I'm sorry, boss. I thought something happened to you. What could possibly happen to me? I clearly sensed the dangerous atmosphere in the house from outside. This perception is the biggest reason why I am alive now. I was anxious for a moment, so. Boss, don't blame Brother Long. When I rushed in, I found that the boy didn't look panicked at all. Instead, he was smiling at me. Facing the pressure from Brother Long and me, this reaction was very abnormal. Another bodyguard sitting in the passenger seat followed suit. Su Qingying looked out the window at the Jinhai building, which was getting farther and farther away from her, and was distracted for a moment. Ding ding ding. On Penguin, Chen Yao sent a message. 11:25 Xiaoyan, are you busy? 11:26 No. Getting ready to go off work and have lunch. 11:27 It's much colder here than in Binhai. I almost caught a cold yesterday. 11:29 Did you bring any thick clothes? 11:29 Yes. I have a feeling that Boss Su will contact you again. She is really a very good person. Please don't misunderstand her. You have a pretty good feel for it. 11:31 It's obvious that she cares about you. 11:31 Boss Su gives me the feeling of an older sister at home. Xiaoyan can also spend more time with her. 11:32 You want me to touch her a little more? Those bodyguards behind me will kill me. 11:35 Who told you to touch me? 11:35 How can we have contact without touching? 11:40 Don't imitate me. In the evening, when Xu Leyang was having dinner, he found that the old landlord was in a low mood. Grandma Wang, what's wrong? You seem a little distracted. Oh. I lost my handkerchief. The landlord held the bowl and chopsticks in his hand, but did not touch a single bite. If the old doesn't go, the new won't come. Go buy another one. The handkerchief itself is not very valuable, but it is something passed down from my ancestors. It would be painful to lose it. The old woman sighed again and threw a bone on the table to the little yellow dog she had picked up a few days ago. She even built a nest for it in the yard. Where did you lose it? The sun was shining brightly a few days ago, so I washed a bunch of things and hung them out to dry in the yard. I didn't notice them when I brought them back home at night, and I couldn't find them when I looked for them yesterday. Don't worry. Sometimes you can't find it even if you try hard, but it will come out by itself when you stop looking. That's all I can think of. After dinner, Xu Leyang comforted Grandma Wang a few words and then went back to the room to take a shower. As soon as I lay down, Lin Kesin sent me a message. 21:10 Are you free tomorrow morning? Let us have breakfast together. 21:11 or 6 o'clock. 21:13 Yeah. Are you resting now? 21:14 I just finished taking a shower and am lying in bed. 21:15 What a coincidence, I am taking a shower too. 21:15 I do not believe it. 21:16 That's fine. 21:22 No overtime today. 21:24 After taking a shower, I go to the company. 21:25 Are you planning to work overtime until tomorrow morning? 21:27 I will take a break in the middle. 21:28 Call me anytime if you need help. 21:28 Yes, thank you. Chapter 25 Tracking Enhancement. Xu Leyang slept very soundly that night. Now that he has more than 2 million, he smiles even in his dreams. The next day when I went out before dawn, our Huang heard the sound and ran out of the nest wagging his tail. Our Huang, be good. I'll buy you 2.5 strings of Botilder Bokuan when the time comes. Xu Leyang touched the dog's head and drove to the parking lot of Jinhai building. Lin Kesin wore dark blue straight pants with a light brown jacket today, and her hair was still naturally draped over her chest. As soon as they got off the car, Xu Leyang pulled Lin Kesin into his arms. She didn't dodge and smiled as she hugged Xu Leyang's waist. Go eat something quickly. I want to sleep in your office later. Didn't you take a break yesterday? I went to the hospital to stay with my father for a while. His condition is relatively stable. I came to the company in the late night. The two walked out of the underground garage side by side. It's getting colder now. The cold wind sweeping through the street made Xu Leyang shrink his neck. Lin Kesin was the only visitor to his office all day today. There are 10 people consulting in total. I'm afraid it will take until next year. When he drove back to his residence in the afternoon, he found something unusual. Xu Leyang's keen intuition allowed him to discover that several cars were following him in sections, sometimes far away and sometimes close, but they did not show any hostility. Whenever he drove into a dead end or a side road, ready to wait for the car to come, the other party would not fall for it. When he returned to the main road, the cars appeared again without anyone noticing. Xu Leyang knew who sent him. What on earth did that woman want to know from me? After dinner in the evening, when Xu Leyang was about to go back to his room, he was stopped by the landlord. Xiaoshu, when you have time, come with me to look for the handkerchief. I plan to search through all the cabinets at home. If I can't find it in a day, I will feel empty inside and can't sleep well at night. Grandma Wang looked anxious and apologetic. It's a piece of cake. Just tell me where to look. So under the landlord's instructions, Xu Leyang began to search through all the boxes and cabinets. He discovered a serious obstacle. Grandma Wang was very nostalgic. She was reluctant to throw away many old clothes and other things, and as a result, they kept piling up. There were several large wooden boxes in the house, all of which were filled with these things. The only way at present is to conduct a blanket investigation. Open the boxes one by one, take out the items one by one and spread them out, search them once and then stack them up and put them away. Xu Leyang squatted down to check 3 boxes, his back and waist ached. The landlord was looking in another room. Only our Huang was the happiest, running back and forth between the 2 rooms. Suddenly, Xu Leyang remembered something important. Grandma Wang, do you have surveillance cameras in this courtyard? All other courtyards have it installed, except the one I live in. The landlord's tone was also full of regret. Woof. 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 Our Huang called out to Xu Leyang a few times. Do you know where it is? It's a pity that I can't understand a word you say. He squatted down, smiled and touched our Huang's head. Grandma Wang, don't worry. Take a break. We have been looking for more than an hour. The landlord was still squatting on the ground, rummaging through the box in front of him. I'm fine. Xiaoshu, if you're tired, go to bed early so as not to affect your work tomorrow. It's okay, I'll look for it again. Xu Leyang patted his waist and continued to search. Suddenly, a muffled sound came from next door, and at the same time, our Huang ran up to him and barked a few times, signaling him to follow. Xu Leyang's heart tightened and he rushed to the next door, where the landlord was lying face down on the ground. Old people are afraid of falling. 11 o'clock in the evening, outside the emergency observation room of Shanghai-affiliated hospital. Are you a family member? No, she's my landlord. Based on your description and the old woman's injuries, she should have fallen forward. This is a blessing in disguise. The doctor is explaining the situation to Xu Leyang. What caused this? After squatting for a long time, he suddenly stood up, and the old man had blood pressure problems. After treatment, he is fine for the time being, with only a slight contusion on his wrist. We recommend that he stay for observation overnight. Okay. Thank you for your help. Xu Leyang finally breathed a sigh of relief, followed the doctor to complete some procedures, and then returned to the observation room. Grandma Wang was lying on the bed, already asleep, with one wrist bandaged and her face pale. She looked much older. Xu Leyang sat on a chair beside the bed, feeling very depressed. The landlord usually takes good care of me, and this time when the accident happened, it was like it was my own loved one lying on the hospital bed. The next morning, he took the awakened old man back to his residence. Just lie down in bed and rest today. Don't move. I'll bring you your meal when it's time. Xu Leyang helped the old man back into the house. Xiaoshu, if you weren't here yesterday, I would have been in trouble. I'm sorry for delaying your work again today. The landlord sat hunched on the sofa, looking listless. Her voice returned to normal, but a hint of helplessness could still be heard in it. It's better that you're all right. As for work, you can always. At this point, Xu Leyang suddenly remembered something and looked at the skill bar. Skills, self-defense, tracking, design, foreign languages, work experience in a foreign trade company, course tutoring enhanced. Number of skill enhancements, 1. Then his eyes focused on the tracking technique. Enhanced effect, tracks anything it has seen. With the host as the center, the tracking radius is 3 kilometers for living things, 4 kilometers for non-living things, and 5 kilometers for consultants. There is no distance limit when the trust is full. Only one target can be tracked at a time. Then strengthen it. As soon as Xu Leyang finished speaking, he felt dizzy, but then he immediately returned to normal. He tried to recall the photo of the handkerchief the landlord showed him yesterday, an ordinary white handkerchief with a few flowers embroidered on it. Then silently recite in your heart. Search. An overhead map of his surroundings immediately appeared in his mind, and at the same time a green dot appeared in the corner of the yard. Isn't this the place? Xu Leyang went out to check and found Huang lying in the nest sleeping, and under its body, there was a white square object. Grandma Wang, I found it. Huang took the handkerchief to its den. Let's eat dog meat this afternoon. Woof. 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 When the old man saw the handkerchief that had been lost and found, he stood up from the sofa and his eyes finally lit up. Slow down, the doctor said you can't get excited or stand up suddenly. She checked the handkerchief again, and finally held Xu Leyang's hand tremblingly. That's it, that's it. I probably dropped it on the floor when I was collecting it and Huang took it away. Thanks to Xiaoshu. How did you find it? I have had a talent for finding things since I was a child. I can find anything lost at home. The old man, who had regained his spirit, was ready to start a busy day. It was only after Xu Leyang's strong persuasion that he chose to take a day off today. Huang also lay quietly at the landlord's feet, deliberately staying away from Xu Leyang. No matter how he teased her, she would not come close. Xu Leyang was still a little worried about the old man, and since it was almost noon, he didn't go to work today. He asked someone to install surveillance cameras in the yard, and then he stayed in his room until late at night. I just upgraded my tracking skills. Now I need to familiarize myself with them. Chapter 26, Hair Tying. Xu Leyang was lying on the bed, recalling Huang's appearance, and a green dot showing his location immediately appeared in his mind. This guy is still in Grandma Wang's room. Does he know that he has done something wrong? Then he took out $100 bill, took a look at it, and mixed it in with a bunch of $100 bills. It seems that tracking can only locate, but cannot find the one I want among similar items. Xu Leyang thought again of the eldest brother of the Wang family who came to pay the rent in the afternoon. His house was only 3 courtyards away from him. Let me see where you are. Very good, the eldest brother of the Wang family is in the eldest sister-in-law of the Li family's room. Ding ding ding. Lin Kasin has news. 2326 Why didn't you come today? Are you feeling unwell? 23:28 No, I was delayed for a little while. 23:30 It's okay. 23:32 Nothing. Still working overtime. 23:33 It will be over soon. 23:34 Not bad. 23:42 Let us eat together tomorrow morning. 23:44 This time I will eat first, then give it to you. 23:45 No, gross. 23:46 If I eat yours, I won't feel sick. 23:47 Dislike. 23:47 Can you cook? 23:47 What happened? 23:48 Nothing, just asking. 23:50 If you are not afraid of death, you can give it a try. His tilde. At 4:30 in the morning, Xu Leyang went out. Oh, you are really dedicated. You can be targeted even if you disrupt your schedule on purpose. In the rearview mirror, a taxi was following me not too far away. I pulled over and the taxi sped past. Xu Leyang started it without hurrying and took out a note with Su Qingyin's phone number from his pocket. Without solid evidence, she will definitely not admit it. We need to toughen her up a bit. Before 6 o'clock, Xu Leyang appeared in the parking lot. Lin Kesin was already waiting. She was wearing a high-end beige business suit today, and her hair was not tied up, hanging down softly. Why are you dressed so formally today? Several big clients are coming, and they are the documents I asked you to prepare before. Kitchen supplies and pet feeders. Lin Kesin tilted her head slightly, her eyes moving and the corners of her mouth curved, revealing infinite tenderness and affection. What a destructive power. She naturally took Xu Leyang's arm and walked towards the exit side by side. As they were talking, the two of them arrived at the old place. They came earlier than usual today, and the restaurant had just opened, so there weren't many people. After Xu Leyang ordered, the food was served quickly. Hey, it seems someone really dislikes me. Lin Kesin sighed and said slowly, pretending to be disappointed. In front of her were 2 bowls of porridge and a plate of sliced meat scones. 1 bowl of porridge is not enough for 2 people. Plain porridge has a lot of carbohydrates, and I can't drink more than a few sips. This is what your body needs most right now. Lin Kesin took off the rubber band on her wrist and handed it to Xu Leyang. Help me tie my hair. Today, we just pick up the food with chopsticks and eat without having to lower our heads. The white and slender hand that had remained in front of her eyes gave her the answer. I can't. Just tie it casually. I'll have to sort it out again when I get back to the office. As soon as he took it with his right hand, Lin Kesin turned around and faced away from Xu Leyang. This was the first time he touched Lin Kesin's hair. His left hand moved through her soft and wavy hair, bringing with it waves of shampoo scent. Hurry up, the porridge will get cold soon. It's true that the emperor is not in a hurry. He first pinched a handful of hair in his left hand, then used a few fingers of his right hand to stretch the rubber band, hoping to let the bottom ends of the hair pass through the middle of the rubber band, but he failed after trying several times. Why does she have so much hair? More and more customers came to eat breakfast, and everyone who came in glanced over here intentionally or unintentionally. Xu Leyang made up his mind, used the rubber band as a rope, tied a knot on the outside of his hair, and pulled it hard to tie it into a single ponytail. Okay. Looks like I'll have a day. Before he could finish his words, the rubber band suddenly broke. This. Lin Kesin couldn't help laughing, took the rubber band, put her hands behind her head, and quickly tied her hair. Then she picked up a piece of pancake with chopsticks and started eating. Before Xu Leyang could breathe a sigh of relief, the half-bitten meat pie was brought to his mouth. You can't even finish this little piece. More and more customers are coming now. TSK, 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 showing affection so early in the morning. I hate this kind of thing that doesn't apply to any occasion. If you had a girlfriend like this, you would do it regardless of the occasion. He quickly winked at Lin Kesin. But she pretended not to notice and continued feeding him calmly. She even raised her delicate and round chin, indicating that she should eat quickly. Okay, that's how we want to play it, right? Xu Leyang grabbed Lin Kesin's wrist and ate her fingers together in one bite. Lin Kesin wanted to withdraw her hand, but failed. Let go. Faced with more and more onlookers, a trace of panic finally appeared on her face, and she whispered for words from the corner of her mouth. Seeing that Xu Leyang was still unmoved, she raised her high heels and stepped down. Chapter 27 She was born in 1998. I can't beat her. What were you yelling about just now? Didn't you look around? It's so embarrassing. Back in the office, Lin Kesun sat on the massage chair and said resentfully. Finally, she did not forget to roll her eyes at Xu Leyang. Who told you to step on me so hard? Who told you to bite my finger? Didn't you let me do it? And you even stretched out your hand specifically. That's to feed you. If I put my feet. Lin Kesun keenly caught Xu Leyang's gaze again. You. She immediately pulled her legs back and placed her bare feet on the seat. Then she felt uneasy again, so she took her coat off the back of the chair and put it on her feet. Hey, those are my clothes. It's tasteless. Lin Kesun closed her eyes and ignored him. At 8:30, she stood up from the massage chair on time, draped Xu Leyang's clothes over her arm, and walked towards the door. Manager Lin, my clothes. I'll help you throw it away. You dislike me anyway. Lin Kesun was a little angry in her words, and she didn't even look at Xu Leyang, but walked straight to the door, leaving him with a graceful and charming back view. How dare I? Xu Leyang chased after her and stopped in front of Lin Kesun with a playful look on his face. You promise not to do anything weird with this dress? No, I have a cold today and my nose is blocked. Let's just throw it away. After several struggles, she finally got the clothes back from Lin Kesun. When she left, she also took a bottle of mineral water from the table. This is weird. Why hasn't the trust increased in this period of time? Just like what the system said, it will be harder to increase as time goes by. Xu Leyang let out a long sigh and sat in the massage chair, which was still warm. Looking at the clothes in his hand that Lin Kesun had just used, a bold idea came to his mind. Lin Kesun also returned to her office at this moment, staring blankly at the tip of her right index finger. Xu Leyang has been eating out every night these days as he doesn't want to add extra burden to the landlord. When I returned home on Wednesday night, I found the landlord in the yard, talking to another old man. As soon as he got off the car, he was greeted. Xiaoshu, see if you can come and help me. You tell me, as long as I can help. The landlord introduced the old man sitting opposite her, who also had grey hair and an anxious look on his face. This is Grandma Liu. A few days ago, her family lost their ancestral gold bracelet and they couldn't find it. You're good at finding things, so see if you can help me. I just made it up and they believed it. Young man, don't be too upset. I've looked everywhere I could, but I couldn't find it. I came here to vent my grievances, otherwise I'd feel bad if I kept it to myself. Alas, when I get old I start to forget everything. Do you have any photos? Show me. Grandma Liu immediately found a photo of a gold bracelet engraved with auspicious cloud patterns from her mobile phone album. Xu Leyang immediately used his search skills and found the location. Do you have a cat at home? I have a little cat, it's very naughty, jumping around. Where do you usually keep your bracelets? On the bedside table. I searched the entire bedroom but couldn't find it. Xu Leyang's eyes turned and he thought of an excuse that would be acceptable and would not arouse doubt. This happened in my hometown, too. The lost items were taken to a tree near my home by the kitten. Let's go look for them together. Oh, I really didn't think about it in that way. Grandma Zhao clapped her hands, and the disappointment on her face immediately disappeared by half. Xu Leyang followed the old woman towards her home. In less than 5 minutes, the flashlight shone a shiny object on a leafless tree branch behind the house. That is it. Little Nezzer. Xu Leyang added. I'll go up and take it down. You help me with the flashlight. Climbing trees is now too easy for Xu Leyang. Thank you, young man. You are really good at finding things. Grandma Zhao held the lost and found gold bracelet in her hands, shaking constantly. Don't get excited. If something goes wrong, you will be overjoyed and then sad. The old man's happy look really frightened Xu Leyang. After declining the request to transfer 1,000 yuan as a thank you gift, he returned to his room, took a shower and went to bed. What happened just now gave him some inspiration. Can I help someone find something later? Open a lost and found. Ding ding ding. Just as I was thinking about it, I received a message from Lin Kesun on Penguin. 21:35 I guess you are free on Saturday night. 21:37 year. 21:37 year. 21:37 year. 21:37 year. 21:38 Manager Lin, what are you crazy about? 2139 Boss Xu, you were the first to go crazy. 2140 There's something wrong with you. 2142 Something has been wrong for a long time. 2145 What happened? 2146 What can happen to me? Just keep Saturday night free. 2148 I am looking forward to it. 2150 What to look forward to? 2151 Let's see what it's like to eat properly, since you're a picky eater. 2152 Dislike. 2153 If I wanted to dislike you, I would have thrown away that piece of clothing a long time ago. 2155 It smells strong. 2157 No, it has no smell at all, it even smells a bit fragrant. You retracted a message. Fuck. I was fooled. This woman is trying to trick me. 2205 What did you withdraw? I just took a call. It's okay, it's okay. Xu Leyang sat up and took a sip of water to calm himself. 2207 Never mind if you didn't TC it. 2209 said. 2211 Nothing. 2212 said. 2220 I just said that I should treat you to dinner on Saturday night. I said I would treat you next time when we first chatted. But I was afraid you would be unhappy, so I withdrew it. 2222 It took you so long to reply, you must be making up an excuse. 2223 My phone fell down recently, it's a bit stuck, the memory is a bit low, the touch screen is not accurate, and it's hard to type. 2225 So Boss Xu is going to spend money again. 2227 No, I would also like to thank Manager Lin for giving me the opportunity. 2229 Did you take that coat back to be washed? 2230 Yeah. But I definitely don't dislike you. I've been wearing it for a few days. 2233 I didn't do anything weird with it. 2233 No. 2235 Go to bed early. I can leave work early today. 2235 Good night. 2235 Good night. This woman is horrible. It's like you can hear the words you type. Xu Leyang lay down, spread his hands, and let out a long breath. It seemed as if he had just been through a fierce battle. Ding ding ding. The news sounded again. What else does she want? 2240 Screenshot. No, it has no smell at all, and it even smells a bit fragrant. Brothers, she was born in 1998, I can't beat her.